test of the emergency broadcasting system. The broadcasters in your area are cooperating. Level November Delta.
Whoa, no way. It's me. I'm 2 days late. Let's go! Hey, be disappointed in me all you want. I still show up, alright? I still show up. Sometimes. I'll have you know, I had other things to be doing, alright? But it's okay. I'm sure you guys are capable of looking at the IDs yourselves and coming up with your own opinions. Surely you don't wait for my opinion and then regurgitate what I say. Sure, that you would never do that. Why would you ever do that? You don't wait for other people to review things just so that you can take their opinion and then pass it off as your own. I know you guys would never do that. So, I mean, we'll be rating some IDs. Not too much gameplay today because I do have things to be doing. I gotta go to like the card shop and get sleeves for cards because I ordered some more Yu-Gi-Oh cards recently, and I ran out of sleeves. So, you know me. I just picked up the adventure engine. I know what you're gonna say, bro. What the fuck is that? I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! That's some nerd shit. Or, you're a degenerate. Why would you ever buy those cards? You're a filthy meta player. Sorry, bro. It is what it is. I've always wanted those cards. So, you can flame me all you want for buying the adventure engine. The one thing that I didn't pick up was Illegal Knight because it did not fit in my cart. So, I need sleeves for that. It is what it is. So after stream, that's where I'm gonna go. And then, I got other things to be doing in the afternoon. So yeah, we're just chilling. We're gonna rate the IDs. We're gonna watch some. I actually came prepared, so I have media lined up so that we can actually watch, some stuff. One of them is going to be the second part of how SGU beat Railway 2 with the worst IDs or whatever. Like the 1 hour long video. Obviously we're going to play it on slightly faster speed because we don't have all day here, guys. I'm sure you are very busy people, but it's you know how it is. We'll watch that among some other videos that I found, of course. But first, I'm just doing my dailies, and then we'll get into the ID review really quick. That's the agenda for today. Not gonna be super intensive or anything. We're not gonna be doing testing. I'm trusting that you guys are doing testing, so I don't have to. But you know how it is. Which one is the adventure engine again? It's Rite of Aramasir, Water Enchantress, Griffin Rider, Fateful Adventure, and Draco back, and then Illegal Knight sometimes. And that's like the core of the adventure engine. It just got reprinted in the tin, the quarter century tin. So that's why I picked it up, because Water Enchantress was like $25, $30. Aramasir was like $30 or something each. Now they're like $3 each. So that's where we're at. But anyways, enough of that. Enough stalling. How long has the stream been going? 5 to 8 minutes ish. All right, we'll start with Hong Lu. I have high expectations for this one. We'll go starting with stats. He has -1 defense level, sure. A Fatal to Pierce, sure. I mean, honestly, Fatal to Pierce is a welcome sight. Even though a lot of scary enemies deal piercing damage, it's not like super unwelcome because all the meta IDs are Fatal to Blunt. So, even though the scariest attacks generally tend to do piercing damage, it's okay. And plus his defense is an evade instead of a guard, so surely he won't get hit that many times. Surely. So expend knowledge is a 5 and 5. Pretty standard. Discard 1, sure. Clash power plus insight -1. Pretty standard. Inflict 2 sinking count reuse coin. So it hits for a 3 coin, and the clashing goes up to 12. If you have Insight 3, it's a 3 coin skill. Basically, for damage, it's a 3 coin skill, and it clashes for 12. I mean, that's pretty unimpressive, to be honest. I mean, that's pretty unimpressive. 3 coins that clashes for 12. I mean, Sure. Randomly discard 2. Sure. Coin power plus insight -1. Coin power is a lot better than clash power because it actually does things. And because each coin is worth 4. Because each coin is worth 4, think about it. When you get coin power plus 2, hypothetically, if you're at insight 3, hypothetically, this adds like another coin and a half worth of damage value, you know, just like hypothetically. But, you know, inflict 4 sinking. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. This clashes for what, 16? And then with 3 insight, I'm assuming 3 insight. You know, with 3 insight, it clashes for a bonus of 6 as well. So it goes from 16 to 22. I mean, that's really solid. The only annoying thing is, you're gonna have to do like defense skill tech in order to keep your insight of 3. And depending on his skill 3, it might not even be worth discarding. Like, we'll see if it's even worth discarding. At 2 or more insight, coin power plus insight. I mean, that's good, because that way you don't need to have 3 insight, which would be terrible. Inflict 3% more damage for sinking on target, max 30%. Inflict for sinking count, heal 10 sanity. Don't care. I'm assuming you're going to be at 2 insight, because I don't think any other ID really wants to discard their skill 3. So usually you'd be at like 2 insight. So if you're at 2 insight against 2 coin power, right now it clashes for what, 14? With 2 coin power extra, I mean, that's pretty solid. With two coin power extra, that's pretty solid. I think it's about the same as his skill 1 in that case, right? It would be 3 coins worth 5 each, so it would roll for a 20. I mean, when you put it that way, the skill 1, damage-wise, is very similar to the skill 3, disregarding the bonus damage. Because, I mean, this is a lot of damage bonus, and it's only, you need 10 sinking to hit the cap, and then at 10 sinking every coin does 30% damage. It's not like what is it, like you have an effect on your skill 3 that's like, yeah, deal, I think at upside 4 it's like 50% damage on crit, but it's only on his last coin, which is kind of a bummer. He deals like good bit of bonus damage on his last coin of skill 3 only, where this does bonus damage on every coin of skill 3. So, I mean, that's pretty solid. I don't know if you'd ever want to discard this. His passive is Resonance. Alright, we're just taking the L on this one. Bro. Why did they make it Resonance, bro? Come on. Okay. Well, that sucks. Because I don't think Rogia's discards. Her skill 1 doesn't discard, right? Yeah, her skill 1 doesn't discard. So if you want to activate Gloom Resonance, I'm assuming you're playing with Diechi Rogia also. She can't, her skill 1 doesn't discard. So you'd have to use someone else, I guess. I mean, Isong doesn't even have Gloom in his kit, right? He doesn't even have Gloom in his kit. How does this even, bro, how does this even function, bro? This seems pretty terrible. That seems so janky. What the hell is that, man? When discarding skill, gain damage up equal to discarded skill rank. I mean, you know, that makes sense, sure. This is annoying as hell, though. This is really, really sad to see. Because you'd have to use, the idea is that you'd use another discard unit to discard their skill 3, but none of the other discard units really want to use Gloom skill. Like, none of them really have any. You can shield with Roja. I guess you can use guard skill, but you're losing so much by using guard skill, though. Like, it doesn't do anything. That's actually such a shame. Because I know Molar Otis doesn't have any... Yeah, she doesn't have any Gloom in her entire kit. I don't think you have Gloom either. What even is your skill 3? Yeah, you don't have Gloom either. I don't even know, like, how are you supposed to make this function? Oh, thanks for the thread. How are you supposed to make this function, bro? It's 3 resonance. It's 3. Oh, what the hell? Nah, that's not cooking, bro. That is not cooking. That is raw. That is some raw meat. After attack, if the target is staggered, ally deals heals for 7. Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't think this unit's gonna be the meta breaker we were all hoping for. I'm gonna be honest. He does seem pretty fun, but like, dude, the passive being on Gloom Resonance, that's like the worst thing it could have possibly been. That's so bad. Why is it so bad? Ugh. That's so sad. What the hell, bro? What were they thinking? What were they up to with this? Cause you really okay, so assuming that you can't really use his passive almost ever without like a really elaborate setup, the only time you'd ever get 3 insight on him is to discard your skill 3. Obviously, how does insight happens in real time? So I guess if you use skill 1 and he has skill 3 in the other slot, then you can instantly reap the benefit of discarding the skill 3. I mean, that's something. Same thing with Unveil, but like, I don't know. I think his skill 3 is really good. And you won't have 3 insight consistently because you can't, again, like, I'm assuming you're not really ever using this to get insight. Like, to quote-unquote, like, skip turns and still have 3 insight. So, basically, you'd only have 3 insight whenever he gets skill 3. I'm assuming that you can't really activate this consistently. So, I mean, that sucks. And the skill 3 itself doesn't discard. So you'd need to go like skill 2, discard a skill 2 or something, and then go into skill 3. Nah, that's so awkward, bro. That's so awkward. Like, most of his gameplay, like, hitches could have been most of his gameplay hitches could have been solved by this being on owned instead of resonance. The strat with him is to discard skill 3, then never discard again. Yeah, see, like, that would be the strategy, but the problem is, like, every single skill he has discards. So you'd have to constantly do discard tech the entire rest of the fight, basically, in order to facilitate using this, to, like, use that strategy. Which, I mean, is not impossible, but it is inconvenient. Because you basically only have 1 skill, like, permanently for the rest of the fight. You only have 1 skill. And then if you ever use, like, an ego, then you risk getting a skill in the bottom slot that you don't want to override. So, I mean, that's just, like, nah, it's just, like, discard tech is quote-unquote free, because, like, you know, defense skills are free, but there is actually, like, opportunity cost associated with not having option. You literally have the options. You cut the amount of options you have per turn, like, in terms of skill variety. You cut your skill variety in half every single turn when you're using discard techs that much. So, like, you know, there's gonna be a significant amount of turns where you're stuck with skill 1, even though his skill 1 is not, like, horrible. It's, like, basically a skill 2-ish, skill 3-ish in terms of value. But, like, it's not like so good that I would just only want 1 skill. Like, basically you're just imagining, what if we made a unit with 1 skill slot every turn? Like, when you say it like that, what if we had a unit that had, like, skill 2.5, skill 3-ish power for every one of his skills, but he only had 1 skill option per turn? Like, I don't even know if I would want that. I don't even know if I would want that. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not horrible, because his skill 1 is at least kind of useful. But, like, I'd rather have options than just be streamlined into using whatever I'm given every single turn. I mean, that's just kind of annoying. And then, God forbid you ever want to use defense skill. Like, what if you just have to, there's just a situation where you have to use defense skill. And then you just discard a skill 1 on top of it, like, you know, above it or whatever, and then you're just depressed. Like, I mean, Oh well. It would be better if this didn't discard, ironically, but here we are. I mean, I don't know. This unit doesn't seem bad, to be honest. It doesn't seem bad. It's just so awkward. It's just yeah. I think it's just awkward. It would be better if you get multiple skill slots on him, because then you could have more skill options per turn. I think, and you can see your skill 3 more often. Like, there's a couple things. One of them is that you kind of quote unquote rely on getting his skill 3 early, either to discard it or to use it for something. Like, you want to see his skill 3 early so that you can discard it or use it in like a burst setup with the bonus damage sinking, because that is like a significant amount of damage. 30% on each coin is like 90% total base damage or something. Obviously, you know, with the way summation works, it's okay, but I don't like. You want to see skill 3 early, but if you're doing that and you're not really discarding that much after to cycle, if you're not really discarding that much, then he's basically just a regular unit. And if I'm just using a regular unit, I'd rather just use Ting Tang, I think. I think it's probably more reliable to get Insight of 2. Like, you just discard a skill 2 with a skill 1 or skill 2, and then you just use skill 3. I think that's probably more reliable than just trying to go for the dream setup. Because I think, honestly, I think it might be more worth it to just get Insight 2 and then just use that to boost his skill 3. Because his skill 3 is, like, kind of juiced in the right setup. And by in the right setup, I mean you've overclocked Rhyme Shank on the enemy once. Insane amount of effort, I know. But I think it's probably the move is just to go Insight 2, and then you just play with his skill 3, dealing a bunch of damage, and refunding sinking count. It goes +1 on count, which is pretty respectable, very solid. So, I mean, that's probably the quote-unquote better way to play it. I think. I don't think Insight 3 is like very feasible. I mean, in like an ideal situation, it is pretty solid, but this is, again, like most of the time we've been talking, it's just assuming that he has Insight 3 in the first place. Like, we use his skill 1 assuming that he has Insight 3 in the first place, which is like, you know, if you're not at Insight 2, or if you're not at Insight 3 and you're only at Insight 2, this skill is just like pretty good. It's not horrible. So, you know, I think it's probably more like you're not getting a perfect situation on this unit very often. I think like it's going to be very inconsistent to get like a perfect setup. So I think Insight 2 is probably fine. I'm assuming we're at Insight 2. He seems pretty good. And he still seems very consistent at Insight 2. And if you're not trying to preserve Insight 3 for your life, then you don't have to do discard tech every single turn, which is a huge bonus. Because, I mean, again, as good as the tech is, it's not like crazy broken or anything, right? Like, you'd still rather not have to do it. In my opinion, I'd still rather not have to do it. Even though it's convenient sometimes, most of the time I'd rather not, because I'd rather be cycling my skills than, you know, I'd rather be cycling through my skill rotation more often so that I can see my powerful skills, rather than slowing down my skill rotation by stopping discarding. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit, it's a little bit touchy, but overall I think this unit is pretty solid. I mean, he seems really good. Again, I still think he's probably better than Ting Tang if you're pushing like story and stuff like that. Like, if you're doing like if you're doing story and stuff, he's probably better. Mirror Dungeon, I mean, you can take your pick. You use like every ID in this Mirror Dungeon nowadays because of the bonuses, like the Starlight bonuses or whatever. I haven't done mine yet. Do I have? No. But you use like every unit, so he's going to be good in Mirror Dungeon. I think Ting Tang like is probably better still, but he is very solid. Overall, I'd say for sure he seems very, very solid. I'm not disappointed in the unit. It's just he has a little bit of missed potential because of his passive. Like, if the passive was more convenient, he could have been a real, like, power player. But I don't think he's going to be meta because the passive can't really be consistently used. So I mean, he's kind of he is very very good though. And then Diechi Isang, I'm not super thrilled for this ID. I mean, you already I'm sure everyone watched my video. Like, I'm not super thrilled about this ID. It is what it is. We'll just go through this one quickly. He gains shield. His skill 1 is actually rolling for 11, which is pretty solid. Coin power +1, so it rolls for 13 if they have sinking, sure. And then stagger threshold, I mean, that's very, very standard. This rolls for, what, 13? And then coin power +1 if 5 sinking, so 16. I'm assuming that you would probably have 5 sinking on an enemy pretty easily, so we'll just say that it rolls 16. And then he gains 3 aggro. 3 aggro is really not a lot of aggro. There is a pretty solid difference between 3 and like 5 and 6 ish. So I mean, 3 aggro is really not that much. It is aggro, so it is appreciated, but it's just interesting to note. And then inflict sinking equal to insight. I mean, sure. Gain insight shield if discarded. Gain 10 aggro. Okay, that's like the most aggro we have in the game. Okay, I mean, there it is. But I mean, this skill rolls like, dude, this is terrible. His skill is awful. Am I crazy? Oh my god. What the hell is this, bro? Okay, so 4 plus it rolls for 12. At coin power or 50% or less HP, it rolls for 16. I mean, first of all, I don't think it would be easy to get this ID below half. First of all, I don't think it would be easy to get this ID below half. Second of all, even if he was below half, his skill 3 still rolls for 16, bro. That is like pretty bad. Like, even for 2-star standards in the current year 2024, for 2-star standards, 16 is pretty trash for a skill 3. I mean, it does have 10 aggro, which is really funny though. Discard 2, gain 5 aggro. That's pretty standard. He actually does have a solid guard skill. It has 3 defense level, +3 modifier, and then it rolls for 18. That's actually pretty good for a defense skill as far as those go. And then when attacked, inflict 1 sinking. When attacked while shielded, inflict additional 1 sinking. So it can go 4 times max. So it goes, what, 8 sinking if he was attacked 4 times while shielded. I mean, that's like not that good. You kind of, it's like you almost get a mini Rhyme Shank if you choose to pass turn with this ID, essentially. You get like a mini Rhyme Shank. It only inflicts sinking, so it doesn't inflict count. I don't know. When one ally with highest speed discards a skill, gain 5 by discarded shield. Yeah, sure. Max 2 times per turn. Okay, whatever. I mean, yeah, this ID seems pretty mid. The rolls are crippled, bro. Isn't this like base Mersault numbers? Like on his skill 3? I feel like, doesn't base Mersault have similar numbers to this? Minus the coin power. Because again, I'm assuming you don't have the coin power. Oh, no. My bad. It's a 4+1. Oh, wait, no, it is 4+2. Bro, that is horrible. That is just horrible, bro. He has them base Mersault numbers, man. What the hell? Because, like, there's just no way he's gonna be below half. Like, he has 200 health. That's an absurd amount of health. For the record. 200 is a very, very large amount of HP. There is, like, no chance he's getting below 50% in 90% of gameplay. There is no way. Especially because his aggro is, like, quote-unquote, kinda low. His aggro on his defense skill is pretty good. But the thing is, his defense skill is really, like, admittedly very strong for a guard. It rolls for 18, plus 3, and it discards. So, because it's discarding, he's gaining extra shield. So, it's like, actually hard for him to lose HP. Which, I mean, would be a good thing for a tank. But, unfortunately, in order to activate his skill 3, you need to get him low. I don't know, bro. Like, this seems kind of, like, I don't want to say trash, but, like, he kind of does not seem very, talented. I will say, he does not seem very talented. I don't know, bro. This ID, I was not expecting much, and my expectations were met. So, that's all I will say. But Honglu looks really, really solid, I'll say. He looks really good. And I have a lot of shards, so you know what? Why don't we just dispense him right now? For free, pretty much. I need, what is that, 60-ish, 65. So I'll go like 30 for now. 62. Alright, we'll do 3. Oh, I got lucky! Okay, that's pretty good. The support passive is useful. I mean, it's like, it's useful. Like, quote-unquote, it is useful. As in, it has a use. You are correct. The problem is, I'm pretty sure the highest speed ally has to have a discard skill, and all of the discard IDs are kind of slow. And then also, the shield is not, like, if it's like, yeah, I still don't exactly know how it works. Either I don't remember how it works because they changed it when they changed the ability to select the order of your units in the team select. But like, if it works as in the highest ID has to be a discard ID and then they'll get the bonus if they discard, versus like the highest discard ID, which could be like, you know, Roach is like 3rd in the turn order or something, but she's the fastest discard ID, so she would get it. I don't know how it works, but like, you know, I mean, I guess it's kind of useful, but like, if you compare it to like just Spice Bush, like if you compare it to like Spice Bush passive, you're dealing like a ludicrous amount of bonus damage with this. It is on resonance. I will give you that, it's on resonance, but 10% damage when attacking 2 or more targets. If you're using an ego with a high attack weight, this adds up really quickly. So that's all I'll say about that. And then, you know, you also have base passive. Base passive is really, really good. Because it just heals you for free every time you use an ego, basically, is how that reads. And then Blade Lineage, obviously. I don't remember what your passive is. Is this Charge Barrier? No, it's Rupture. I don't know. But he has better passives, for sure. I mean, Spice Bush passive is the one that comes to mind the most. The support passive is useful mostly in solo. Well, in solo, I'm sure it would be super useful. You know, I just don't, what's it called? I don't value solos that much because, like, solos are mostly gimmicks. Unless solos are the optimal strategy for any given stage, I do not really care about solos because it's, you know, personally, it's not something that I'm interested in. I just like seeing big numbers. That's me. I like seeing big numbers. If you're not doing the biggest numbers, then, you know, you're mostly just a gimmick strategy. That's my opinion. And I'm not saying that people who do solos are, like, you know, invalid for what they think. I'm just saying, like, you know, not personally my thing. It works with lower team count. Of course it works for lower team count, obviously. But 90% of the time, in the current atmosphere of the game, you want to max out on team comp. Like, usually you want to max out on team comp in most content. Like Mirror Dungeon, there's not really a reason to bring less than 6 in Mirror Dungeon, usually, unless you're doing a specific strategy. Most of the time, bringing a full 6, team of 6 is better than not. Obviously in Railway, it's the same thing, because you don't even get extra skill slots, so obviously, obviously you'd want to bring everyone. And then, like, Lux, you basically want to bring everyone that you can because you start out like you're speed running, so you want to start with as many slots as possible. Threadlocks, for those who do Threadlocks, I don't fucking know, bro. I just skip. But I mean, I assume it's the same there. I think the only time that you would, like, the only time in recent memory that you don't want to max out are like during the events, because in this event, I know a significant amount of people, including myself, did like solo Sonk Sinclair to farm. Like, okay, sure, you know, that's pretty good. And then same thing for this. I know people did not what's it called? I know people did not bring a full suite of Sinners for this. I did not when I was doing where is it? Which one is it? Kill it's like, oh yeah, this one. Kill 7 with a single person. Like for this mission, I did not bring full I did not bring a full team. I think I brought like 3 people or something. So for that specific case, then yeah, I mean, but most of the time right now, you kind of want to bring as many people as possible. Anyways, that's gonna be it for now. Let's dispense this bad boy.
이건 이렇게 쓰여 있나 보네요.
Very nice. And then we'll take a look at what he's got going on. Looking for a key. We'll go uptide 3. We'll see what he has at uptide 3.
현명하신 생각이네요.
Hello, welcome again, of course.
인도해드릴게요.
And then, because it also, you know, I'm not gonna come to any conclusions because, you know, not everyone has like infinite resources in this game. So I'm also gonna see what he gets at uptide 4 compared to uptide 3. Like if he needs uptide 4 also, that is gonna dock some points. Because assuming that, you know, it's mostly going to hit his general play rating. If he needs uptide 4, it's going to mostly impact how I think of him in general content, because if you're doing like meta content, you're probably going to have resources to uptie him to 4, no problem. So, you know, but this is like from my perspective on paper, as I can see it right now, he's mostly a general usage ID, so the general rating is going to be pretty heavily impacted if he needs uptie 4. So we'll see. Book was so ancient that holding it at a slightly wrong angle could completely unbind it. Linguistic forms other than 13 common languages. Shrink the ring. Shrunk the key to a smaller size. Oh, so this is the same key that he fights with? That's kind of funny, actually. See that someone's erased something back here. There's nothing like this key when it comes to finding hidden and redacted records. This is just like a straight up like artifact, bro. He could be like a hella archaeologist with this, actually. Publicly known fact that there are 2 sects. The fists, and the keys, sure. The fists naturally veer towards hand-to-hand, encouraged by the essence of their main mode of knowledge acquisition, and the keys naturally veer towards using their very tools of observing and acquiring knowledge as weapons. Slate contamination from the sebum on the surface of our skin could alter it irrevocably. How am I supposed to understand without touching it? Physical contact isn't always necessary. Comparison chart. Oh my god, bro. What the hell? I didn't know reading was so hard. No wonder so much of the new generation can't read. Hiya. Yeah, bro. I guess he can grow the key to his whatever size he pleases. Probably within reason, but that's interesting. Keys have the advantage of being able to use their tools to strike their enemies from afar. Yeah. What the hell? Slapping people around? Slapping people around. Why does he do slashing damage if all he's doing is slapping them, huh? No common knowledge that the tiny key can grow so large like that. It's pretty obvious why some enemies were caught completely off guard when facing off against the keys. I guess that's all there is to do. Enlarging the key given it mass, it all costs knowledge gained specifically through. Yeah, okay. Oh, so it needs, like, you need to charge it by studying. I see. You need to charge the key by studying. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe I'm more of a fist kind of guy then, huh? Base passive does not heal for using ego. That does months classify as losing SP, apparently. I swear at some point it did count as losing sanity. Because they lost sanity. I don't know. Like, I swear at least... I don't know if it does now. Because now I'm being gaslit by... now I'm being gaslit by one guy. Maybe I'm getting one guide. But I swear to God at some point it did. Anyways, what does he have it uptight for? Clash... Insight class 3+ insight. It works when it happens on Enclair. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know that. That's infamous. That's infamous. Reuse coin once. Okay, he really wants uptight 3, I think, or uptight 4. Coin power plus insight -1. 3 insight. Nah, you kind of need this ID at uptight 4. Like, really badly. Like, you kind of need this ID at uptight 4, like, really badly. And then his passive gains the effect to... Yeah, okay, I mean, that's not really that big of a deal. Nah, this is, like, kind of depressing to look at, actually. That's so... Oh my god, that's so fucking... That's so sad, bro. Oh my god. Whatever. I mean, that's tough. That's actually so tough. It's probably his best ID to uptight 4, next to, like, K-Corp, maybe? Because K-Corp gains aggro, and that's important on him. But, like, I don't know. Nah, I mean, that's so tough. That's so tough that you need him uptight 4. Oh my god. I mean, he's still good. He's still a good ID, but I don't know if I would use him at uptight 3. I don't know if he's, like, worth using at uptight 3, because for 100 thread that it takes to uptight this to 3, you can uptight Ting Tang to 3. So, if you were to choose, like, you know, if you were to choose between spending your 100 thread here or 100 thread on Ting Tang, obviously I would pick Ting Tang and just use him at uptight 3. If you're choosing to use one at uptight 4, I'd probably choose him because he gets more value out of uptight 4. So that's my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of that though. He could have, if they wanted to, they could have made him function completely fine at uptight 3. I don't know why they had to lock it behind uptight 4. That's kind of BM from Project Moon, to be honest. That's my opinion. Recently got into Battle Cats and I'm kind of playing around with it a bit. I've been playing the Battle Cat. I mean, you know me. I've been playing the Battle Cats. They just, in the Japanese version, the one that I play on, they just reran Metal Slug for the first time in like 7 years, I think. There was a sentiment that Metal Slug was like the collab was never getting rerun ever. So I was like super excited. I pulled like every single unit. I actually can show you something cool. We're done on Limbus, by the way, I think. I don't think there's really anything else to do here. I think Hong Lu is good. He's probably the best generally, but you need him uptight 4 for him to really shine, which is a shame. Because I know that most people generally will not want to uptight 4 things unless they have to. So, I'm not a huge fan of that, but he is pretty decent. at upside 3, I guess he's kind of decent. And then Isong is just his own case, bro. Like I'm not even dispensing him, bro. He's kind of a waste of my boxes. No kizzy. So, you know, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Nothing outstanding though. He's definitely not the meta king that I was hoping he would be. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but not unexpected, because dethroning Ting Tang is going to be a very, very difficult job. Like, this is going to be a hell of a job, bro. Once they power creep Ting Tang, I think this game is, like, screwed. Anyways, we're done here. Let's go to window capture. I have my, I came prepared this time. Let's go with, here. Yeah, see, look at this. I don't know why it's, like, my window capture, like, hates me for some reason. So there's just going to be, here, I'll move it down, maybe. Maybe that'll, yeah, that looks a little better, actually. Alright, that's fine. A lot of IDs are like that nowadays. Yeah, it's, kind of annoying. I've been slacking on Battle Cats a bit, other than logging in daily and sending Gamma Toto. I mean, that's fine. Should have made an account on Japanese servers, if you want. I'll show you something cool, actually. A while ago, hold on. Let's put on some music really quick. What should we put on? I've been watching some Key and Peele recently. What should I put on? Something nice. Something nice. Who's the guy that uploads all the Limbus, soundtracks? OST. This guy. This guy's a legend, bro. Let's put on, Let's see. Battle theme E1. What is this? That's a little intense. Give me, like, you know what? Okay. Give me the crab ones are all the old reliable. Where is it? Oh crab, so crab. Yeah, this one. This is old reliable right here. I love this one. Oh, I fucking love this song. Here, I'll turn it up a little bit. But yeah, there was a there's a while ago in the Battle Cats community, there was a project that was rating like every Uber, basically, because there's like 1 million units in that game. You know, there was like a community effort to rate Ubers in the game. It's called the UDP. I think it's still up. Yeah. It's still up. Don't use this, by the way. It's super outdated because the person who was running it retired from the community like years ago. So it's not updated anymore. But if you go to credits and then you scroll down, you'll see a very familiar name in the writers section. So I participated in this, and I wrote like a couple of entries for it, because you know me. But some of the ones that I did were for the why is this website so fucking laggy? By the way, yo, it just broke on me because I was zooming. Yeah, it broke because I was zooming in. But one of the things that I wrote for it is some of the Metal Slug units, because I was like one of the only people who had them because the collab was like 7 years ago. So one of the ones that I wrote was Jupiter King. He was like my favorite personally. Of the 4 of them that we had, Jupiter King was my favorite. And then Huge Hermit was my second favorite, but Jupiter King was my favorite, so I wrote like Jupiter King and stuff, which was pretty good. This unit's terrible, by the way. They're pretty much all horrible, but you know, there's like mostly update, like a lot of it is up to date, quote unquote, up to date. But like, aren't Metal Slugs infamously bad? Yeah, they were like one of the first collabs in the game. That's why they're infamously bad. They're like terrible. But they look really sick, so that's why I like them so much, because they look awesome. But that's kind of like what I, you know, but most of it is quote unquote up to date. Like, not all of the information is completely, outdated. Because people do kind of try and keep it updated, but they're not like super, they're not super up to date. Like, some of them, talk about like meta. What's it called? Like, some of them talk about like, you know, in the late game meta or whatever, like, you know, it's, he's pretty good, right? So, you know, like Jizo and whatever, he's like, you know, he's obviously really good, but he's since this was written many years ago, he kind of fell off in the late game, because the late game now is very, very different from the late game back then. So he used to perform at like all stages of the game, but nowadays he's sort of fallen off a little bit because the late game is different. Right? So I mean, you know, they did update it a little, albeit falling off towards the end game, right? So, like, you know, the end game back then was, like, what late game is now, like, late UL and whatever. Like, he's, like, you know, he's still really good, but he's not, like, insanely strong and, like, as dominant game-breaking as he used to be, right? So, stuff like that. When I first got into Battle Cats, I was wishing you had a Discord server. I'm going to make a Discord server eventually. Trust me, I will, alright? And then I was thinking about the logistics of, like, who would I have as mods and, like, what roles would I have and whatever, like, you know, doing all that stuff. So, I mean, I'm thinking about it, okay? I'm thinking about it, alright? But, you know, this is where I'm at. I could flex my account right now if I want to, but I don't have it on PC. It's on my phone. But, Jupiter King is kind of sort of usable right now, and Golden. Yeah, his third form's actually good, which is really funny. I finally got the last laugh. Because Jupiter King is actually not bad anymore. He got a third form in the JP version that gives him Surge, 100% Surge chance, and it's, like, actually good. He got, like, an insane health boost. He gains 100% Surge, so his DPS doubles. And he has, like, good CC, and stuff now, because the meta changed, so he's, like, actually good. he's not completely terrible anymore, which is, like, finally, I get validation, but, you know, that's enough of that. We'll start, by watching the Line 3, Mirror Clock Orange Road trailer. I'm so excited for this, actually. Also, if you need help with Battle Cats, don't be afraid to DM me. There's still people who there's a person who's been DMing me about help with Battle Cats for like over a year and a half, I think now, and they just keep asking me questions. Like yesterday, they've DM'd me saying that they finally killed they finally got Bullet Train's true form because they killed the Hanya revenge stage, and they unlocked the soap cat. So, I mean, like, if you want to DM me, don't feel afraid to DM me. You can talk all you like. Don't be scared. But we'll watch this for now, and then we'll see. But like, if you have any questions about like which units what should I do? What should I pull on? What does this unit do? I've literally memorized. I played the game for so long. I've literally memorized what every single unit does in the entire game. So if you don't know what any Uber is, like if you get an Uber, you don't know how good it is, I can tell you how good it is. If you see a unit and you don't know what they do, I can tell you what they do. So, you know, if you're need help in that game for whatever reason, you know, we'll see what happens. But we'll watch this first. It's only a minute long, and then we'll move forward. Oh my god, this is loud. Pretty obvious ploy in it. Okay, so this looks like Arter Moth. What is this? Is this Gossipium? This looks like Gossipium. Obvious ploy. I'm sure those vines are here to poke holes in us like straws. Okay, obviously it's Gossipium. For some reason I was looking at the background. I didn't even read it, but yeah, okay. Obviously it's either Gossipium or the what is it? Like the isn't there the Carmilla or something? The rose? that's like in that sewer or whatever. I mean, I think Gossipium appears in a field. The rose kind of looks like it's in a tunnel or something. Like the Carmilla looks like it's in a sewer. So I don't think that's correct. Allow me to re-articulate it. More evocative to say that the flame itself has taken the form of such an insect. So that's Arter Moth, obviously. Okay, so this is Gossipium. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at here. And then that's the Arter Moth. What is this, by the way? It looks just like Lantern again, but I don't know. Okay, so yeah, maybe I should have kept watching another 30 seconds. I would have seen it. It swaps between white and red, it looks like. I thought they were two different things. They're the same thing. Yeah, so it gets stained with blood, it looks like. And then this is the Arter Moth. That is a big moth. It doesn't even look like a person. I wouldn't even know how to describe that floaty thing as if someone asked me to, but you know, it's got that oddly demeaning gaze. Floaty thing. Hold on. This might be the final boss. Teaser for final boss. I don't know. Worthless wretch, your worth is not enough to even lay a finger on me. That's what it would have said if it had a mouth. Don't you agree? Or don't you think? What am I looking at? Oh my god, bro, the camera shake. I don't know what that... I mean, I know for a fact people who are not me know what that is. I have zero idea what that is, but that looks like final boss, if you ask me. Clockwork Orange? Oh wait, that's actually so funny. It literally is Clockwork Orange. How did I miss that? Let's see, hold on. Anyone knowing what it is? Spiral of Contempt? What is this? Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's the stupid ass fucking the perversion gift. I literally forgot this thing existed, by the way. What the hell is this? What even is this? Is this like an aberration of something? What even is this? What does it do? Blood pours from above, the land of gold lies beyond. Spiral ahead loudly screeches. It must have reached this depth after burrowing and burrowing. Although it has no eyes, it creaks to face you. Stare... Yeah, so spirals of spikes. From the excavated brain, geysers of hatred and contempt erupt. Uh-huh. Forgiveness. Spiral descended out of sight. Yeah, I'm lost as to what this thing actually is. It just looks like a branch with a pool of blood. Burrowing Heaven? Isn't there another Abno that's an aberration of Burrowing Heaven? I swear there's another one. List of abnormalities. I think that's a different one, isn't it? Oh, they already added these to the fightable ones. I see. Yes, Stuck in Heaven. It's this one, right? Or can there... maybe it is another aberration, but it doesn't even look that similar to Burrowing Heaven, though. Right? Hold on, give me music back. It doesn't even look that similar to it, though. Like, there's no, like, eye motif. Like, you know, the Burrowing Heaven has, like, the red and the eye motif, right? I don't know what the hell this I'm looking at. Like, it looks like, something else. I'm pretty sure this is an aberration of Burrowing Heaven. Thank you, Britbert. Anyways, I don't know. You guys can think about that. That's not my problem. You know, this is not my area of expertise. You guys got it, alright? And then I saw this upload a day ago called the Great Limbus Company Census. I don't know what this is, but I figured we'd watch it. It's only 3 minutes long. We'll take a little peek. Here.
from the Limbus company community at large, since frankly it's sometimes difficult to know what the community thinks about some topics in Limbus, since it can be easy to get stuck in an echo chamber of varying quality.
What do you think the gimmick will be for the railway? I have zero idea, bro. Like, I have no clue. I don't really think about it until it gets announced. You know me. I don't really care that much about speculation until it gets announced. Like, you know, I care about the abnos that just got revealed because they were announced, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, Gossipium's bleed and Ardor Blossom Moth is burn, like general ideas. I'm not really looking into the details, but like, you know, how the railway is structured, I'm not really thinking about it until it gets announced. I just hope to God it's not cycles again. I swear to God, if it's looping again, I'm going to go to the Golden Gate Bridge and not return. Like, I don't know. There is just no way, bro.
So I made this community post 10 days or so back, which led to this form. A simple little thing I made in like 10 minutes, and I sent it off into the world. With my subscriber base, and considering it was a community post, I thought to myself, well, maybe it'll get like 500 responses.
Yeah, probably
and,
thousands.
I got 700 responses.
Oh, okay.
In 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
And now it sits at just around 2,200 responses.
Yeah, thousands.
Now,
yeah, that's what
why
I
am I
figured.
putting on a vaguely scared-sounding voice when I say that? Well, let's just say my data collection for that survey was, subpar. Allowing people to write in the answer for their favorite sinner led to things like this, and every variation of a sinner's name counted as a separate entry.
Oh, yeah, that's fucked up. Why would you not... Okay. Why would you not put options? Dude, if you're putting a survey out, you always do multiple choice. Do not ever put free response. Like, that's one thing that I learned, like, for one of my classes. Never put free response if you're doing, like, a wide survey. It never goes well. It literally never goes well. Oh my god.
Which was just a whole mess to try and make sense of. This was also a similar problem with the favorite ID segment, since, I get it, spelling is
what the fuck
hard.
is that? Ryosgu. Diechi Rodian. Dude, 2 responses? There's 2 people who wrote this? Bro, how did 2 people write this? No, I guess the S or the H and the G are next to each other, so it's not completely unreasonable, but like, bro, how did 2 people write W Ryosgu, bro? That's crazy.
But also, goddamn, the amount of variations of Magic Bull Otis was simply astounding, since she was very new at the time and there was no community established nickname, and who can be bothered to spell out lobotomy ego : Magic Bullet Otis anyways? Oh.
Ryosgu
Obviously,
clears.
that also skewed my data, and I am just not a professional when it comes to data collection. But I really wanted to get a good set of data and do something with it. Share some interesting results instead of just making jokes about spelling mistakes. But I mean, this
13
is
people said
pretty
La
funny. The
Criatura.
point is,
Yeah, I
the survey
saw that,
was
bro.
somewhat of a mess, and it is completely my fault. But for all of you who took the first survey, thank you, and especially thank you for leaving a lot of kind words at the end. I read as many of those as I could, and it definitely helped fuel my ego. The regular kind. However, I want more, and I need all of your help once again.
Okay.
I have created a much better form that will make for far better data.
Nice.
With more questions, including, but not limited to, how much shame do you feel about the amount of money you've spent on Limbus?
Oh.
So yeah, professional stuff.
Okay.
I also encourage you to share this form with people who play Limbus, but don't necessarily watch me.
Alright, so the form is here. Hold on, I have to block out the screen because I'm pretty sure if I open the form, it shows my email, so I have to log out of my email so I don't dox myself. How do I fucking log out, bro? Oh, I'll just use a burner email. It's no problem. Hold on. Just log in real quick. Not now. And I'll just use I'll use my burner email so that it so that I don't dox myself. Put the music back on, huh? Alright. Give me back my window capture. There we go. See, look, we're all good. Alright, let's do this really quick. How long is it? Alright, we're okay. Who's my favorite sinner? Oh, we're counting Dante as a sinner? I mean, I guess he is, technically, huh? It's either Heathcliff or Gregor. I mean... we gotta stick with our boy. Who's my favorite IB? Oh my god. Favorite IB? That's a fucked up question, isn't it? I think it's still W Ryoshu. I'm just gonna look through really quick. I'm pretty sure it's still W Ryoshu. I don't think there's any competition really that I can think of. I just make sure I don't miss anyone. No, it's still W Ryoshu. It's not even particularly close. W Ryosgu. Yeah, true. Who's the best? Which idea is the best drip? Oh, you gotta be kidding me, bro. The best drip in animations. I don't usually think too much about animations. I think it might be Ting Tang. But Ting Tang, like, I like his outfit a lot, and I like his skill 3, but his skill 2 and skill 1 are so mid. It's, like, disgustingly mid. How bad they are. Who do I like the animations of? It might be... Honestly, it might be Ninclair. I like Ninclair a lot. Or it might just be W Ryoshu again. I feel like, deadass, it might be W Ryoshu again. Or Ninclair. Walpurgis drip is primo. I mean, that's actually true. The new Otis has really, really slick animations. The Liu animations are pretty cool. They are, you're right. Especially Liu Honglu is really sick. I like him a lot. I just don't use him that much. Spicebush Isong has good anim- Oh, you're right. No, Spicebush is really sick too. I love his skill 3 animation. It feels so good when you burst a sinking stack and it does over 2,000 damage or something. I think you might have convinced me actually, I think. I think so. I think you're actually right. Spicebush is actually low-key really, really good. What's your favorite ego? What is my favorite ego? I don't really feel too strongly about many ego at all, I think. I don't really feel too strongly about any of the ego. Like, I don't look at any of the ego, really, and go like, Pog! Oh my god, that's so crazy. I'm thinking Forest for the Flames. It's just simple. Simple and effective. Either that, or Sunshower Isong I really like. I would count it corroded too. Yeah. No, that's what I'm thinking. But I don't usually corrode ego that often. So I don't know a lot of the animations. I think Regret Mersault has the best drip, though. The best animation and drip has to be Regret Mersault. That's pretty, that's a pretty shut case. Where even is it? Pursuance, Capote, Regret. Oh, it's there. It just doesn't have a name next to it. I think that's pretty I think that's pretty solid. Both the Awakening and the Corrosion are really, really good on Regret. That's my opinion. No way Regret Merciful beat the Sailor Moon Shrimp. Oh my god. Wait, that's actually so true. That's so hard. That's so hard to choose, actually. Nah, the Sailor Moon Honglu is so good. The thing is, okay, I'm gonna say Regret because I actually get to see the animation, okay? I never use Soda Honglu, so I'm going to choose Regret over it just because at least I get to see Regret's animation. Soda is just, I never see that shit. My favorite ego, I don't really have a favorite ego. To be honest, I think Forest for the Flames is just very solid overall. I think that might be my favorite. It's just, ooh, Crow's Eye View is really good, though. Crow's Eye View is really, really fun. It's simple, but it's so effective. Hex Nail is another good one. Oh my god, Hex Nail is a really fun one, too. Any ego that helps me get big numbers. I think Crow's Eye View might be my favorite, though. It's so hard. Actually, nah. Give me Forest for the Flames. Oops. I think that might be my favorite. I don't know. Like, I don't have a favorite ego. It's whatever. Out of the 10 Season 3s, which is my favorite? Pirate. Not even particularly close. Out of the 9 Season 3 egos, which is my favorite, I don't really care about any of them. I don't even have Blind Obsession Ishmael. Like, I don't even have Blind Obsession Ishmael. So I don't even know what it's like. I don't even know what it really does. But I have not used pretty much any of the other ones, so I'll just pick it because it's definitely at least usable. Actually, Blind Obsession Ryoshi is not bad. I'll pick that. Okay. I mean, no, I'll pick this one. It's probably better. How many Mirror Dungeon normals do you do a week? None. How many hard do I do a week? 1. What do you think of new Mirror Dungeon compared to the previous one? Slight downgrade. Feel free to elaborate. When did you start playing? On launch. I contributed to the day 1 server crash. I'm proud to say that while I was exiting the tutorial, the game servers crashed. So, I was there. Yeah, okay. I have not purchased Season 3 yet, but I intend to. I just have not had a need to yet. Roughly how much money have I spent? I guess 20 to 30. How ashamed are you of the amount of money? No shame. I got the battle pass. I don't really care. Name every status effect archetype I enjoy playing. None of them in particular. I mean, are we counting syncing as like an archetype? How much are we counting syncing as an archetype? I mean, I like playing Charge. Charge is probably my favorite. I don't really even particularly enjoy syncing that much. It just has a big number, and I just like seeing big numbers, so I'll say that. Favorite Sin affinity? What kind of a question is this? Envy, I guess. Envy or Gloom? I mean, what skills do I like the most? I think mostly Gloom. But Envy has a lot of good egos. I'll say Envy. A lot of my favorite skills are Envy skills. Select my favorite Kanto. 4. Select my favorite Intervallo. Hell's Chicken. Be for real, have you read or... Yeah, I don't even know where they are. I don't even know where they are, bro. Have you played the other Project Moon games? I played Ruina. I mean, I haven't finished it, but I played it. If you have played both, which is your favorite of the three? I've not played all three. What piece of Limbus content of the options do you look forward to the most? Line 3. Anything else you wish to say about the state of Limbus? This can be anything from the community to the game itself. May also clarify your answers. You may also clarify if you wish. I will read as many of these as I can. Anything else I wish to say about the state of Limbus? Who cares about line 3? Where's Farm Watch? Nah, you're actually real, bro. You're actually real for that. Where is Farm Watch? Anything from the community to the game itself. I mean, like, I don't even know what to say, really. I'm pretty satisfied with the game as it is. I mean, I don't have very high expectations personally. I just kind of roll with the punches. Whatever happens in the game happens. There's nothing I can do about it. So, I'd say probably the one thing that I have to say is, like, probably the community. It's a little bit insane, but, like, not even in a funny, endearing way. Like, they're just insane in, like, an obnoxious way. Am I crazy, or am I true for this? I'll say, you know, some people really need, some people really need to. Okay, we'll submit. The 4 men's no. Alright. And then, I also found this. I don't know if we'll have time to, we might have time to watch this if I speed it up, but we'll see. But I found this video in my recommended, and he says, this guy, 130 subscribers, the only quick factual tier list of Limbus Company. I looked in the comments, and half of them are like, I cannot tell if this is satire. Bait used to be believable, but this tier list is not cooking. It is just like so many people just like, this tier list has to be a joke. Like, I need to watch this, bro. I have to. But you know, I just thought that we should watch it together. I'm so I'm so ready for this. This is gonna be great.
Tier lists. Either you hate them or not, you cannot deny that they can actually rank stuff. Frankly, tier lists are my thing, because with different contexts like soloing, ego, buffs, passive stacking, and etc., each ID could be a monster by itself. That's why I'm going to be judging it by their skill, coin power, consistency, and usability.
Oh, that's quite the criteria. Skills? What is it?
Thing,
Skills, coin power,
like soloing, ego,
consistency,
and etc.
Something?
Each ID could be a monster by itself. That's why I'm going to be judging it by their skill,
skills, coin power, consistency, and usability. Okay.
Power, consistency, and usability. And before I start,
the one thing that I value the most about tier lists is making sure the methodology is clear. So at least he put criteria. I'll see what it goes.
Clear. Anything I said is solely.
Damn, Limbus got a glow up. Yeah, bro, you got third person and everything.
Opinion based on my experience. If you got PC because of some random ass stranger opinion on the internet, I don't care. I'm not telling you to not use this and that. Use whatever you want. I'm just stating my opinions that hopefully can be used as a guide for maximum effectiveness for the free-to-play player.
Oh, okay. So it's maximum effectiveness for free-to-play players. Okay. Making sure I understand. We're basing on skills, coin power, consistency, usability for free-to-play. So probably mostly uptime 3, I imagine. Usually if you're free to play, you'll only really have access to uptime 3 and like maybe a dozen uptime 4 IDs and like some ego, but not really like that many.
Nor do I will bullshit or beating around the bush. On the bottom left screen, a text will be shown in what context I'm talking about between Mirror Dungeons and Reflection.
Okay, so he's judging on Mirror Dungeon and Railway. Okay,
with that out of the way, let's just jump right in.
I like
F tier.
that.
Why would you even use
F tier? I mean, to be honest, I agree with all of these. Like, they're pretty bad. I mean, Suncliff, people are gonna have some problems with him being there, but he is truly terrible, so, I mean, don't at me, that's pretty fair.
Niche, but they just suck. The rest are just, no. Sunshine Heathcliff, just why? I love Heathcliff, alright, but holy shit, they butchered my man. D tier.
Yeah, I mean, those are pretty fair, to be honest. Like, I don't, you know, if we're being honest. D tier, I mean, like the lowest tiers are interchangeable. Like the difference between D and F tier IDs are like pretty negligible, bro. You put Mariachi in D tier, I'm assuming it's because of the support passive. Like, they're like, base Faust, you could argue she's F tier. Like, she's pretty bad. I don't really care. Like, there's not really a difference between D and F.
But why would you still use this tier? She, Heathcliff, and Ishmael. I don't really like IDs that require you to be low on health. Just know. Even if
Sure.
you did
I
manage
mean,
to
you don't like she IDs. I mean, that's fair. They
low
are a
on
little
health,
gimmicky.
it's very
fine.
risky, and the benefit is not that good either.
The benefit's not that good. That's cap. But I mean, if he doesn't like using them because they take time to set up, I mean, that's fair. The benefit not being that good, that's kind of very invalid, flawed argument. But the setup, she is very, very mid before you set her up. So if he's assuming that you're just like not trying to set her up that much, then sure. I mean, that's fair. I
Late lineage
guess.
Sinclair and
I
Otis.
guess I
Look
could
at their
see
skill.
it.
No. I'm well aware that Sinclair third skill has a good point,
I
but
mean, I don't agree. Obviously, I don't agree with him, but I can understand where his reasoning is coming from.
the rest
Because
of
he, as a person, does not want to have to set up IDs and be low HP. I mean, that's fair.
the skill is just pathetic. And the base IDs, I have nothing to say about these guys. Just bench them for their passive, I guess. Los Mirages, just bench him for solo. Maybe
That's
he's
fair.
okay at best at sinking thing. C tier the okay tier.
Okay tier. I mean, again, like this is like a mid tier. Like I don't really care about C tier, bro. These are all pretty fair to me as far as I'm concerned. Everything C and below in my mind just kind of gets lumped into not viable. Like in my head, this is why I don't do tier lists very often, because mostly the way I think about it is like you either have meta stuff that's really good, situational stuff that's sometimes useful, and then everything else is just like I don't care. so anything from like C to F tier just kind of turns into mush in my mind, and you could put them wherever. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
I
Sinclair
like
just likes
sure.
variety.
I
are
mean,
better
all of
version
these
him that
IDs
I would
are
rather
fine.
prefer
I
to
guess.
use in
But
Tremor teams.
sure.
The Rose Spanner duo is okay. I expected Gregor to do more Tremors, but he skip favored Rapture more. But Rapture team had better alternatives than him. Marsault is there to complete the 6-people Tremor burst team for the Mirror Dungeons.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
there is no more Tremor IDs that could replace him.
I mean, that's fair. That's valid.
I know I'm going to get crucified with this, but hear me out. Windledon and Marsault Kip is just so
Nah, you're not getting crucified. That's hella true.
nice.
Those
It doesn't
IDs
offer
are
a lot
not
other than a
very
lot of things.
talented.
Sure, you can make a team solely focus on Envisions. I'm sorry, but there are far more better than IDs that outclass her in every way. Urokomororian, yes, I am aware of her ridiculously strong passive
What even is her passive? At 5+ poise counter skills, use skill 3. Oh, well, yeah, of course. Duh.
skill, but realistically, couldn't utilize this skill fully in a full team and only possible in solo.
Yeah. See, that's super fair, bro.
Okay, Bleed and Poise, but there are better alternatives as always. LCCB Ryosu. To be honest, her Poise is just difficult to maintain consistently. Yeah, sure, you can put her in a Tremor team, but for her third skill to be fully maximized, you have to get Poise Ego Gifts for her alone.
I like using Middle Mercel for support passive sometimes. I mean, that's fair. Like, sometimes you can also use him in a normal team because Envy Power is pretty good.
Other
but,
than
like,
Tremor Ego Gifts that can benefit the whole Tremor team.
He's not... Let's not kid ourselves. He's not better than, like, B tier, bro.
If only you can maintain her Poise consistently, maybe she'll be higher in the list. You can try to replace Rose Spanner Mercel with her, but I never tried it, so I don't know. She haven't
Yeah,
got a
okay,
passive
that's
though for
fine.
Twin Hook Gregor. B tier, the good.
B tier. Good, bad, and ugly. I mean, sure. Zwei Faust. I mean, I wouldn't know. I have no experience using Zwei Faust. Like, why the fuck are you here? Zwei Sinclair? What is he doing? What is he doing here? What the fuck? Okay, I mean,
the bad and the ugly tier.
we're cooking a
Shidon is
little.
there solely because of her skill.
Yes,
Based on
fine, I
Concord,
guess.
The Poise Control, Poise Ego Gift could help with that. Red Lineage Nisang is just sad. Support
He's not. I mean, he is B tier to be honest. You could argue he's better than B tier, but I mean, he's B tier.
passive one.
He makes a lot of gimmick units better, but like for the most part, they're gimmick units. Like most Poise IDs are not very good. He makes the Poise IDs much better, but like they're still Poise IDs. The only Poise ID that's like remotely that good is like Twin Hook Gregor, and he doesn't really need Blade Lineage Song's passive anyway, so it's like
Works so well in solo. He got outclassed by his junior ID. His coin power is below average to be honest. Zwyfos and Sinclair just use them for their support passive.
support passive. Okay, I mean, I disagree. If I were to use Zwei Sinclair for his support passive, I would rather use Mariachi. They have like the same activation condition, but Mariachi gives you bonus damage instead of bonus tankiness. So I would swap those two. And then at the start of combat phase, like I've never read this in my life.
Man, they are very decent. 7 Nisang is confusing. To be fair, I don't know what his third skill really do. Don't blame my English though, because it's my second language.
English second
Decent
line, I mean,
support
that's
passive,
fair.
but his coin power is just meh.
Yeah.
I know Ratsujins tend to not be the classic
Shidam being higher than she is kind of wild. She's the only one not betting body by low HP. Yeah, that's where he's coming from, I imagine, so it makes sense.
type, but the new Lantern Dawn just completely annihilates him. Base and G-Corp Gregor. Support passive.
Support
That's all.
passive, sure,
Infraction
that's
there was
fine.
approved. Liu, Gregor, and Mersault. Below average coin power, but they are the only IDs that focus on burn. And burn still haven't got a lot of good IDs yet, so I gave them some slack.
I mean, they're not the only IDs focused on burn, but they're some of the only IDs focused on burn. I guess. I mean, sure. Base Otis, I'm assuming these are all because of their clashing.
These Honglu and Heathcliff, their third skill is just safety.
Yeah,
Even for
okay,
base IDs,
sure.
I guess they are really base. A tier, excellent.
Excellent. That's a lot of Honglus. It's a lot of Honglus. And then we have Regret, Faust, Kurkumo, W Corp Gang. I mean, okay. I mostly agree with A tier, to be honest. I mean, you could move like W Corp down and Liu down to B tier, in my opinion, and like, you know, Kurkumo could probably go down to B tier as well. Like some of these you could go to B tier, but for the most part that it kind of checks out.
The 2-star Honglu family. It doesn't have any bad IDs. I'll go through them briefly.
Oh, that's LCB. Oh, my bad. Bro, they're both in Lobotomy Corp, okay? I just get them mixed up. They look very similar. I'm sorry.
Corp, very nice job.
I'm sorry, okay?
Hookblue, probably one of the best split ID out there. Liu Honglu, the only decent Liu ID above Mersault and Gregor, but below
is Molari-san good? Never tried it. He is actually pretty decent. I have not like used mine. I borrow it from other people sometimes, using support system, but he is actually not bad. For a 2-star, he's pretty solid. And he has discard. Like, and discard is broken, as we all know. So he's actually pretty solid.
Ismail, Kurukmo Honglu. Yeah, sure, his coin power is not that strong, but his Cloud Cutter is just insane.
Yeah,
And his third
fair.
skill inflict a ridiculous amount of paralyze. Revenant Force. When you look at her first and second skill, it's below average build. When you look at her third skill, boom, a fucking sleeper build. Kurukmo real shoot. I mean, she's alright, I guess, in terms of breed. Average coin power, but I guess Hookblue is just slightly, if not way
Yeah,
above her.
yeah.
Hardcore Mersault, probably the second best breed ID out there. His coin power is below average, but when you look at the amount of bleed count he pumped out, he's literally the embodiment of Rivers of Blood, while Hookblue is Mogwin Sacred Spear. 7
Okay.
OTs, average coin power. Sure, she has -2 coin power when clashing the enemies, but still not the
Yeah,
clash
like,
type.
you
She
could
only
bump
inflict
down
rupture count on her second skill,
7
but there's
section.
just something missing in her kit. W Corp Force and Mersault is very nice for W Corp team, and overall nice debuffer, especially Mersault at tier 4. And now we have N-Corp Faust. I wish I could put her on
Yeah,
S
that's
tier,
fair.
but still, nice SP regens, somewhat a must-have if you run her with N-Corp Sinclair. Especially if you activate her passive. Just don't activate it too much or else Sinclair will be happy and not depressed, which is undesirable. For the Sync duo, I only recommend for you to best them for their support
I see. I mean, that's valid.
passive. Because Sinclair is
They have good
Just that
skills, though.
good.
Especially Otis is actually not
Sinclair
bad.
for me just like the speed Sinclair have. Even though her kit favors speed and winning clashes, her coin power is just lacking. Chef Ryoshu is okay, but there are far more broken Ryoshu. Plus she
That's
is
fair.
limited, so you can't get her anymore. To be honest, you're not missing
Okay, that's misinformation. You can get her now.
a whole lot if you don't have
It depends on when he recorded and whatever.
her, so don't be sad. And the Molar sound. This is the better version of Molar Bot for Sinclair. If Sinclair is Jake, then Molar Sinclair is the cooler Jake. He's self-sufficient, have complementary amount of coin
Yeah,
power,
he's
a
good,
perfect
he's
fit for
good.
the Tremor team. Moving on to S tier, we have Pico Ji-san. He's literally
Alright, Pequodi-song in the same tier as Spice Bush. That's a little bit interesting. LCCB Ishmael next to Molar and Liu. I mean, maybe if it was like last year, maybe it was a year ago, I would agree. Rose Spanner, Molar Otis. I mean, it's justifiable. I don't know pretty much anything about the lobotomy, the Meat Lantern, Dawn. I know almost nothing about Meat Lantern Dawn. But, sure, I guess. Same thing with Talisman Claire. Like, he's a little too gimmicky for me. I wouldn't, 7 Ryoshu in S tier. It's technically not that outlandish to put her in S tier. She gives you 5/ fragility. 5/ fragility is ridiculously good when some of our best buttons are like Rip Space, you know, and DDEDR. Those are like the two big ones, right? you can't use DDEDR with her, which is like the main price that you pay. That's like the main price that you pay is you can't use DDEDR with her. But you can use Rip Space and stuff like that. So it is not like completely horrible. It's just that she has better options. I'm assuming there's like SS tier, and that's where W Ryoshi's gonna be. But she is actually not bad. Her clashing is good. Her damage is fair, and 5/ fragility is really, really solid.
So much better than Blade Lineage Jisang. Good bleed at his
I would
point.
put Rose Banner in A tier, but okay. I mean, me
She's
too.
not that hard to
But
maintain.
I mean, I'm
Get
not
push
gonna,
a good gift
I'm
and
not
you're
gonna
in for a fun
argue.
time with his second skill. Spice
You know,
boost.
I'm not gonna argue for the semantics on like, you know, if they're one tier apart. You know, that's like up to personal preference. I don't really care that
Jisang
much.
is a must-have for Sinking Team because he is the main reason why Sinking Team even exists in the first place. I don't think there's any IDs that have Sinking Deluxe, so I don't know. As far as I know, he is the only one. LCCB Ismail, all I can say is that she can be placed on either Tremor teams or Rapture teams. She can inflict a lot of those status with her.
Oh, so this is talking about Mirror Dungeon. Okay, yeah, she is flexible because you can run her with like Tremor gifts or Rupture gifts. If that's what he mean, like, you know, if you're like this week, the IDs on my rotation that have max bonus are Rupture IDs, so I'll run Rupture team, then she can fit in there. Or like, you know, this week the ones with max bonus are Tremor IDs, so I'll run Tremor and she can fit in there. I mean, she is very versatile there, and she benefits from both gifts. So, you know, I suppose that it actually kind of makes sense. And she's
Second and third.
tanky. Oh yeah, you know what? Okay, he's convinced me. He's
Plus,
convinced
she
me.
inflicts a lot of fragile. While our both works Ismail, she is very consistent and very self-sufficient. One of the core members of the
Yes.
Sinking Team. As long as you hit her first skill, you can
You
just
don't
spam
really
second
use
skill.
her in
And
Rupture
takes a lot of
nowadays.
sinking
Well,
and
yeah,
sinking
of
down,
course.
above average and balance coins
There's
power.
better Rupture
Definitely a must-have
IDs.
if you're planning to run a
But
Sinking Team
she's
for
not
the mirror
bad
ranges.
in
But she is
Rupture
also
team.
good on her own. Due to her high coin power, she can be placed in any team. Liu Ismail, although burn teams right now isn't that
She's
very
not bad because her skill 3 obviously inflicts a lot of Rupture, and for Gregor's AEDD, the Spark Discharge, you need Gloom skills. And her skill 2, what is it, like Quake Rounds or something? Quake Rounds is a Gloom skill, so she actually does help you stack the count a little bit there as well. So it's not like horrible. She definitely can fit in. Like, you know, it's not like, oh, I just need a 7th person or whatever to fit in. Like, you could use her. I could see you using her and it wouldn't be bad.
impressive. She made up the bulk of the burn team. Amazing coin power on both of her second and third skill. Just wait until Project Moon release more burn IDs. Molar Otis, amazing coin power, very easy to maintain. Interesting discard mechanic. Basically, you just use counter on her first skill. Definitely one of the core members.
Elden Ring in the background makes us feel like a TikTok brain overstimulation video. I mean, you're not
For the
wrong.
Tremor team in my opinion, but on her own, she can be very good. Recommended for Reflection Railways. Rose Banner Rodion, I'm
Sure.
telling you, she made everything easy against enemies with high stagger threshold. One of the core members of the Tremor team too.
I mean,
she
that's
doesn't really
fair.
have that impressive coin power, but she's not the class sub, so I don't think you need to worry much because she just offers a lot with her kit. Recommended for Reflection Railways. Now we got
Sure.
the 7 Association
that's
trio.
fair, I
Frost and
guess.
Heat Click is a must-have for the Raptor team if you want a consistent Raptor and mid Raptor go boom. 7 Ryoshu could be put
Uh-huh.
anywhere because she got above average coin power, but I recommend putting her in the Raptor team because the Raptor team doesn't have that many clasher, and having at least a clasher in any status focus team would be good because you can't tank damage forever when building up the status effect. I was good.
He doesn't even mention the slash fragility. I mean, okay, I guess. I mean, sure. I'm not one for Rupture team. Like, it's one of the teams that I played with the least because it takes too much effort for like what sinking does, basically. So I'd rather always just use sinking, if I had to choose. So, you know, I don't really know about her Rupture synergy. I can't really comment on that.
Views at first how to use Sinclair Red Sheet Kit effectively. I heard he only used his third skill once and never again. Definitely very tricky, but his structure is good. To me personally, I don't use him that much because he is that very tricky. Lantern Dawn
I don't use him that much because he's very tricky. You probably put him in A tier then, huh?
is just insane. A tank that can heal but her coin power is above average. She can definitely put up a fight in clashing. Very consistent Rapture and skill. Use his second skill on any boss abnormality broken parts and watch the HP crash at the 1997 Age in Financial Crisis. Okay, bleed at his first skill. Overall the jack of all trades ID.
Yeah,
Definitely a
that's fair.
recommendation for the Reflection Rally.
That's fair,
Winhook
that's
Gregor
fair.
is self-sufficient. Definitely a bruiser for the bleed and poise team. Combine that with his third skill that enhances critical hits by 100% more. Above average coin power,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
guess he really focused more on opposed attacks. Regret Force is amazing on Tremor team, but you can put her anywhere. You can hit multiple enemies
agree
with a
with
single
that as
skill.
well.
Definitely the
She's
puncher, but
good.
the clasher for the Tremor team. To be honest, it doesn't matter if she can clash or not if the enemies are dead in the first place. I mean, she got a very decent coin power. I guess she is recommended for the Reflection Railways. Alright, let's get to the SS tier. And if you skip straight to the SS
Hold
for
on,
the
hold
Tremor
on, hold on.
or
I just want to
the
make
Jack
sure
of in
something.
clashing, very consistent
Let me
Rapture
see,
and skill.
let me
Use
see
his
what
second
his,
skill on any boss abnormality broken parts and watch the HP crash like the 1997 Age in Financial Crisis. Okay, bleed at his first skill. Overall the jack of all trades ID. Definitely a recommendation for the Reflection Railways. Winhook
he put Regret Faust over N-Corp, right? N-Corp was A tier, right? I think. Yeah. I mean, that's personal preference. N-Corp is definitely not crazy good. I've gone on record multiple times saying she's not like she's not that good, like not that good. She's only good because other IDs are good. That's the only reason she's good. Which I mean you could argue for every support, but like she literally the only thing that she has over every Faust ID besides like the only thing that N-Corp Faust has realistically over every other Faust ID is just gaze. That's the only thing that she contributes. Like is just one button on her kit because all of the other skills on her kit are pretty lackluster. So, and even the gripping as a skill itself doesn't really do anything. It's literally just the debuff. So I mean, yeah, it's not actually that good of an ID. I agree, to be honest. Technically, it's 2 buttons. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Alright, let's get to the SS tier. And if you skip straight to the SS tier, shame on you. But you can make up for it by hitting that like and subscribe button so I can make more edited videos like this. Thank you. For the SS tier, this is the tier where it's filled with IDs I recommend for the refraction
Sure.
railways. AKA these are the IDs that give you a bang for the buck. So you better listen carefully.
Bang for
the
their
first
buck. Alright, here we go. SS tier. I'm assuming we're talking about this is also because it's an F2P tier list. I'm assuming it's also talking about uptie efficiency for uptie 4. How worth it are they to get to uptie 4 versus like how good are they actually? In which case, I mean, you want uptie 4 here, you want uptie 4 here, you want uptie 4 here. You kind of want uptie 4 here, but I'd probably rather just use Twin Hook Gregor. His uptie 4 is good. What's it called? Rabbit, you don't need him, but he's broken. Reindeer, you get massive value, uptie 4. W Don, you get massive value, uptie 4. And Heath, bait used to be believable. That's Pequod. It's Harpooneer. That's Harpooneer. Just because he's Heathcliff and he's slumped over and he's orange does not mean that he's N-Corp, okay? That's not N-Corp. N-Corp Heath is in like F tier or something, I think. W Song, I mean, sure, that's pretty good. N-Corp Sinclair, Song Sinclair, Magic Bullet Otis. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, this tier is very fair. That's
the main tanks of the game and can be put anywhere in any team no matter what. The Girodian have this scarf skill and tend to be confusing on gaining shields, but she is recommended to be the tank for the Seeking team because she also inflicts Seeking and gain more power if the enemies have Seeking. Above average coin power, but it doesn't matter. Peacoat Heathcliff above average coin power, he would perform well if he paired with Peacoat Yisang because of his passive skill. He doesn't have any shield as far as I know, but he's more of a berserker type, and he is good in bleed and voice team. K-Corp Honglu would perform very well in Rupture team, plus he can heal by himself, deals a decent chunk of damage, but his coin power is average. Definitely one of the best tank out of the 4 main tanks.
Yeah, I mean, he is the best tank, he just doesn't do anything else really besides tank. I would probably bump him down. I mean, Ting Tang doesn't really need uptie 4 at all, so I would probably put Ting Tang in a double S. For free to play, you only need 100 thread for him.
Damage and gain better shield in my opinion than the Girodian. He doesn't inflict enemies.
Why is Otis in SS tier? It's his personal preference. He likes the ID. It's his tier list, He likes the ID more, so he puts it up. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's a cool ID. I don't think she's double S tier either. But, I mean, we'll see what he says about her.
Of any Heathcliff. He's amazing, deals amazing damage, have a high coin power.
I think she's probably in
because he works in any team, definitely a no-brainer.
We'll
Ishmael used to be kinda bad, but uptight for her and she's a beast. High coin power, easy charge build-up, fires straight hit into enemies, just don't use her third skill carelessly. For the W Corp trio, these people are just so broken. This is why I think status effects don't matter. What matters is if the status effect improves the ID's overall coin power and damage. This is the best way for an ID kit to be this way. It's easy to understand, doesn't require you to use evo gifts, meaning it can be used anywhere and everywhere. If you have W Corp, Dawn and Roshu, you don't really need to pull for any ID of them ever again. They got exceptional coin power, ridiculously strong hit, incinerating enemies quickly are their bread and butter. Yisang could perform as well as them, although he's more of a Rupture focus type, but honestly you can put him anywhere, even alongside with his 2 broken motherfuckers. These 3 alone is the horsemen of the W Corp team. They are just...
I think that Walpurgis event made their Freischütz look a lot better than she actually is. For sure, for sure. Not people, especially in the wave clearing, and they see like 800 damage or whatever, because she's shooting people that are like fatal to Pride, fatal to Pierce, 7 enemies, like. It definitely is very, very inflated damage numbers. Usually her skill 2 or skill 3 rather only deals roughly like 150-ish damage, like in a practical setting, right? Usually you're not playing like 10 turn fight with like permanent constant wave of enemies running at you, and they're all just like quad fatal to every skill that you have, like. So I mean, yeah, but most people, I feel like most people kind of understand that. It's just it's fun for me because I get to see huge numbers, but obviously it's not actually indicative of how she's going to play in a practical setting, right? We
Then,
can agree.
Encore Sinclair is very good if you can manage his SP. He performs with negative current power. You don't really need Encore Force, but it would be
In
a
reality,
nice as an
she's
emergency
mostly
SP
an
for
A
him.
tier
His third
ID,
skill is the
pretty
Band of the
much.
Anthropos for Minecraft, but it's for blunt weak enemies. It's ridiculously powerful against staggered enemies and bosses alike. Doesn't require you to build up some status effect like a W and Parkour team. His skill reduces his SP, that's why he's very good and consistent, unlike Sunshower Heat Cliff that doesn't have this type of reduced SP skill. That's why I put him on F tier. Sinclair is... I just
Sync.
cannot fathom words on how much of a pedagogue he is. He can clash, his poise count is top hot, easy to maintain. Basically, if you road clashing enemies, use his first skill, and if you clash
She comes in
enemies,
clutch
use his
for Mirror
second skill.
Dungeon
This
event
man
checks
stands
with
on
base
base
15.
stage.
Now
He's a
that
skill
is
demon.
true.
That's why I recommend benching
Base
Sync
15
Otis
is
and Sync Dot as a
crazy.
support passive, and Sinclair acted as the hyper carry. Magic Bullet Otis, high risk and high reward character. She kinda revived the burn team, but she doesn't really need to be in a burn team just because of her third skill. It's very risky that you hit your own teammate at 50%, but the reward is very good. And because I am just biased toward Otis.
See, look, okay, see, he admits to being biased, so he bumps her up. Like, you know, that makes sense. It's his list. It's his video. If he wants to put Otis up, that's 100% valid. That's valid, bro. If he likes Otis and he wants to move their Freischütz Otis up a few tiers, that's valid, bro. I don't really have a problem with that. It's his list. He can do whatever he wants.
Dependent on you if you want to have a high risk and high reward character on a refraction railways. If not, then just use Molar Fixer Otis. Alright, that's pretty much it for the tier list. Agree to disagree? I don't get. Another shameless plug again.
Even for Railway, you use Otis, Molar, 7, or Blade lineage. Yeah, I mean, for sure. But that's specifically for Railway. Railway's kind of a special case because you don't get skill slots. Magic Bullet really wants extra skill slots. Like, that's where she really shines, is when she can start ramping Magic Bullet faster because she has, like, double skills every turn, or in some fights, like, even triple skills. So, in Railway specifically, she's much worse, but generally, for general content, she's actually pretty solid. And in Burn Team, she does shine. Once they, like, bug fix her Dark Flame and whatever, like, you know, they bug fixed it, but, you know, after the bug fix, she is actually quite good at Burn Team also, so that's pretty good. People in the comments were like, bro should devolve into a fish and go back to the ocean because these cannot be the opinions of a land-dwelling creature, but it isn't that bad. No, it's not that bad, bro. Why are people flaming it? Like, it's so hard, bro. I don't know. Reasonable tier list. I don't understand where the hate comes from. It's not that bad. I mean, I personally would change a few things, but like, it's not that bad. The factual title in biased tier list. Okay, every tier list is biased inherently. That's how it is. Clearly it's part of clearly it's part of the joke. Like, that's when I name my video like the definitive Uptie 4 tier list. Clearly it's not the definitive tier list, bro. Like, it's not the #1 best tier list ever because I am biased because I only care about Railway for the most part. So my tier lists are always going to be biased because of the content that I enjoy, right? That's what a tier list is. It's already inherently biased. So I like, you know, you look into a tier list, you can already expect there to be bias. There's always going to be bias unless it's made by a robotic algorithm, right? But like, you know, that's my 2 cents. It looks like a joke, huh? Incredibly funny that Blood put Zvi Sinclair and 7 Esong above the middle squad has to be bait. Nah, I think middle IDs are pretty bad. I mean, you know, Zvi Sinclair, he is quite bad because his competition is very fierce. You know, he based it all around just the support passive, and if he's basing it around just support passive, I would have put Mariachi where Zvi is. But if he wants to, if it's like casual stuff, you don't care about damage, you just like don't want to die, then taking less damage is appreciated. 70 Song above middle squad, I just agree. Like, I think 70 Song is just better than both the middle IDs, to be honest. Like, I don't really understand why they hate him for that. I think that's hella valid. Dude, like, I don't really... He has like 5 fragility. He's ridiculous, bro. He has 5 or not 5, 3 pierce fragility. I got it mixed up with Ryoshu for a second, but he's actually good. He has fragile, he has paralyze. His clashing is the only thing that's really bad. His clashing is the only thing that's really bad. But besides that, the effects on his skills are quite good actually. And his support passive is decent. Unfortunately it's on res, but it's actually pretty good. Full Envy team has always been kind of mid. Sorry, Season 2 newbies. See, Oinky Spoinky is onto something, bro. Oinky Spoinky is onto something. Kinda, but not really at the same time. Pequod, Heath, Mid, Don, Chef, Ryoshi, Diechi, Roja, and Faust is pretty good. Yeah, the problem is, like, the middle IDs don't contribute anything to this. Like, the middle IDs don't contribute anything to this. You're just naming meta IDs. Like, Pequod Heath on his own is good. Chef Ryoshu's on her own is good. Diechi Roja on her own is good. And Faust on her own is good. Like, Middle Dawn contributes nothing, bro. What does she contribute? For 6 and 7, Pequod Isang or W or R, of course, just put random meta tune. Yeah, still prevails over this, but you can't call this setup mid. I can't call the setup mid because you just included half of the meta IDs, and then you're like, well, if you have a meta team, like, if you have a meta viable team, and then swap out 2 of the good IDs for 2 slightly worse IDs, then you can't call it bad. Like, okay, yeah, I can't call it bad, but that doesn't have anything to do with the middle IDs, bro. That has nothing to do with them. And, I don't know, bro. You know, quite possibly your best video. Oh my. First cheerless I've seen to put Suncliffe in F tier. Based. You know what, dude? That's a like. Same thing with you, Oinky Spoinky. Same thing with you. Oh my god. You know, honestly, Preedwet did better. Bro. No. Yo, this guy is crazy. Oh my god, bro. That is out of pocket, bro. That is out of that is so crazy, bro. Nah, this guy is spitting. Oh my god, you fucking murdered him. Horrible accent, but it's not a bad tier list. The people not agreeing with SS are probably skinwalkers. Why do you gotta make fun of his accent? That's just not... Why did you have to even mention this? That's just straight up mean. That's just... Bro, what the hell is that, bro? I will never understand. I will never understand YouTube commenters, bro. Like, why you have to make fun of his accent, bro? It's just so rude. Like, he said English is his second language, and he puts subtitles for everything, and he actually speaks in an understandable way. It's not like he's, bro. It's just fucking. That's just rude. Whatever. Anyway, I don't think this is that bad, actually. I don't know why he's getting so fucking eviscerated for this. It doesn't even seem that bad. Like, the tier list didn't even seem that bad. Bro said Liu Ishmael has amazing rolls while saying Song Dan is below average. Okay, I mean, that's a little bit suspicious, but, like, you know, sure, you found an inconsistency. Get him, guys. I don't know. I don't think he's that bad. I think it's pretty solid, to be honest. Pretty reasonable. I got about like 30 minutes. We'll watch like some of this. How are there timestamps? Esgoo, I expected better. Why don't you have timestamps on your videos, you little goober? But we'll watch like half of this and then we'll finish it some other time.
Video to me, and I always found it strange.
I got like 30 minutes left in me.
One must imagine Sisyphus happy. A line from an essay written by Albert Camus about the man condemned to pointlessly roll the boulder up a hill for all eternity, only for it to inevitably roll back down. But how could he ever be happy, knowing his task is meaningless? Perhaps Sisyphus isn't happy, and it's simply easier to imagine he is, for our own sakes. After all, Why would anyone find fulfillment in doing the same thing again and again with no sure reward at the end, besides maybe your own
Yeah,
satisfaction?
guys.
Especially when it's a difficult task, like
I would
rolling
never.
a boulder up a hill. Okay, yeah. I see the irony now. In case you did not
No
read the
way
title,
they have
this is
lived this company in hell. Where do you think you are right now, bro? What, you think you're not in hell right now?
part 2 of my railway experience, so if you have not watched the first part, I would highly recommend doing so, as I will be assuming you have watched that video. Now, let's not waste time. You should already know the team I'm bringing in, their many faults, and the many concerns. So let me first talk a little bit about the
Everything and
general
also
strategy I had in
everything.
place
I
before
mean,
getting into
you
the
got 'em.
railway proper. I'll keep this section brief, since it really should have been in part 1, but I still think it is vitally important to tell you about my mindset to contextualize how this challenge went down. Obviously, I was painfully aware that envy would be the biggest issue I would face, so everything I did had to be done using the least amount of envy possible. Even in situations where using an ego that had envy, like Ardor Blossom Star or Screwless Wallop, though that was mostly to change resistances, chains of others, where using those would have been used.
Bro, okay, be honest. How many times have you used an ego just to change resistances? There is no shot, bro. I know my ass is not raising my hand right now. How many times have any of you ever used an ego to change resistances? There is no way, bro. There's there's no fucking shot during solos. Okay, I don't do solos, so that's that's where I stand. I never do solos, so it makes sense for me. I did it once yesterday, and that's it. Sometimes 2 to 3 times. Damn, guys, you guys are crazy. I did it 0 times.
And maybe have saved me some time.
The only time, okay, you know what? The only time that I do is because I use an ego, and then the next turn, I get like, the enemy has awkward targeting, and I look at who can tank skills and who can't, and then I'm like, why are you taking so much damage from this? And I look, and my resistances were changed because of the ego I just used the previous turn, and then I have to use another ego that turn so I don't die. That's the only time I do it. I never do it, like, preemptively, thinking, like, okay, this boss has mostly gloom damage, so I'm going to use an ego on turn 1 to change my resistance to gloom, so that in 3 turns I can tank this attack. Like that, I have never ever done that in my life. I just do it when it absolutely is necessary. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should do something about this, but I've never ever done it
I chose
in
not to use them.
advance.
I really wanted to maintain my envy resources as much as humanly possible. I was also trying to conserve resources as a whole, meaning you will see me use ego only when I absolutely have to, which is still quite a lot. It's kind of funny how this is the first video where I'm actually showing me
I honestly forget about resistance change like 90% of the time. Yeah, I
playing
mean,
the
me
game,
too.
but I
Because I
generally
don't
want
usually
to
get
use ego
hit
when possible,
90%
and
of the
as such, I
time,
absolutely did
so
not
I don't
play
have
this
to
challenge
care.
optimally, since the optimal strategies would have just been being more loose with my resources, but I'm the type of guy to die with health potions, so...
Oh, it's a
there's that.
classic.
The only other important thing about my strategy was that I
The
was
just
going
in
to
case
take
philosophy.
it slow. Not in the sense of letting the bosses live longer, but I was going to carefully plan out my moves in order to conserve those resources as best I could. I wanted to not only complete this run, but complete it with relative confidence, meaning plenty of resources to fall back on, and with relatively solid play. This strategy would end up backfiring, but we'll get to that later. Now that you have the context of my strategy, let me lay out
Sure.
how the rest of this video is going to go. I only recorded footage from my Cycle 4 loop, with only a few exceptions.
Can I boost the volume?
So any background footage you see
No,
will likely
it
be
looks-
from
it
Cycle
looks good
4,
enough.
unless I say otherwise. I will not
I used resistance change on chapter 5 last fight by making Diashi Roja 0.75
be
envy
talking
resist,
about every
tanking and
fight from
everything.
every cycle,
I
mostly just the
mean,
important ones
that's
that I
pretty
keep count.
based.
Talking about every fight in chronological order would be boring and take forever.
Real challenge of
I
Railway
also
2
will
is
be
not
giving a
falling asleep in the
play-by-play
middle
each
of
fight.
it.
That would also be boring.
That
but
is
also
definitely
take
the
forever.
hardest part.
Since I talked
Getting
so much about
through
the
it
IDs in the
is the
previous part,
hardest
this part will mostly be focused on the actual encounters, though of course I will be bringing up certain IDs when they are relevant to the fight. If they were not brought up, it is fair to assume they basically existed to serve the purposes I detailed
okay,
in part
okay.
1. As much as I may like to detail every single pain point, this video is already super long, so no. Also, I will be assuming you know the mechanics of Railway at least decently well, and so I won't be
Yeah,
recapping the
alright.
mechanics of the fights unless it is something that only happens at certain high turn counts, which, yes, there are things like
Based?
that, and I didn't know them before going into this run either.
Did you see the Railway 3 trailer? It's another circle. We're going loose again. I did. That was the first thing that we watched.
Enough explaining, that's what
I swear to God. I mean, it has a clock on it. I swear to God, if it's like, bro, if it's more cycles, I'm gonna cry.
It's finally time to talk about every fight in Refraction Railway 2 with the worst team possible. so that no one will cry, or Talisman Doll, which I will be calling him from now on because his actual name is way too long, is the very first fight in Railway. In my guide video, I called the Cycle Zero Talisman Doll fight the hardest in Railway. So this was surely a tricky first test for
I
the
mean,
team fight.
it's kind of annoying as shit,
Well,
yeah.
I actually had some major advantages in this fight, which allowed the first fight to go by with only one reset. This mostly comes down to my team being extremely blunt resistant. Though the speed ranges immediately caused problems for me, taking unopposed attacks was simple. Even more so because it was the Cycle Zero fight, and Talisman Doll was dealing no increased damage from any Railway buffs.
Yeah,
the strategy
alright.
was relatively the same as a normal run. Clash to gain some sanity, then break the right arm when he's doing the so that no one will cry attack, and clash on the body. My one reset here came from me not quite staggering
It
the
could
arm
be
when I
only
first
two
run through.
loops for
I-
AM and PM. Oh, that's interesting thinking, actually. Maybe it's one loop where everything is like... That's actually interesting. If you do two loops and one of them is like the AM and then the PM is like way harder, maybe that's where there's two Gossipiums. I don't know. Like, we'll see.
Plenty of blunt damage, but my attacks are still weak, and when not at max sanity, damage is pretty inconsistent. I eventually succeeded by fueling Snag Harpoon and clashing with that, then the rest of the fight was easy enough once I passed the scary phase. The Cycle Zero fight was over in about 10-ish turns, which was miserably long, but bearable. Almost every subsequent fight was exactly the same as the Cycle 4 fight, with varying degrees of length.
It's
so let me
like
just talk
Railway
about
2,
that.
but your turn
Though,
lasts
to be
30
honest,
seconds.
We all know this fight is never going to be a roadblock. The
Yeah,
only thing that
I'd
could
rather
stop me
just
was if
kill
I had a
myself.
5% chance
I
of a
think
fail
I'd...
against the so
Fuck
that
me,
normal
I
fly
guess.
skill and got punished. Which happened a bit too often, if you ask me. Despite being blunt resistant, So That No One Will Cry is a skill that does so much damage that it was never really worth it to
Yeah,
keep the run
yeah.
going, even if the ID lived. Especially considering
No,
the fight
that
was
skill
coming
is
next.
actually fucked up.
Sanity needed to be maintained, and being
I can tell the problem with this fight is usually you break the arm so that this skill doesn't go through. Like, you would stagger the arm so it doesn't go through, but if your team comp is that dog water that you can't deal, like, any good damage to the boss, then yeah, I mean, this is gonna be fucking pretty bad.
topped up on health was extremely important to not force my hand into using Fluid Sac. Talisman Doll was mostly made trivial due to my intimate knowledge of his mechanics and being weak to blunt attacks, of which I had plenty.
Sure, that's fair.
Oh, I almost forgot to introduce one of our main characters of this video, the Painometer. This handy little guy is rigged to my nervous system and gives an output based on how much mental trauma the sheer memory of the fight gives me. The process is
Immense
immensely painful for us
pain.
both. Thankfully,
Alright.
overall, this fight is only a 3 out of 10 on the pain meter,
Alright.
simply due to having that one skill. But everything outside of that was
Yeah,
a
that's
relative
fair. I
cakewalk.
mean, this fight's pretty
This
straightforward
is also the
besides
fight I
that.
hit my biggest damage number on. Though it was not on Cycle 4, on Cycle 3 I hit a whopping 178 damage total with his Vyrodian Skill 3.
178
Yes.
with Zvi Rogia skill 3. That's pretty impressive, actually.
That was the most damage I ever saw. Maybe there was another time I did more damage.
I mean,
I didn't see it or
that is
remember.
quite impressive for
I also do
Zvi
want to talk about
Rogia.
the
I'll give you
MVP
that.
ID/ego for each fight. And here it was absolutely Mariachi Sinclair. Since he has a 15 rolling evade that can be used at any time, so long as he did not hit tails, which only happened a few times, anything used by Talisman Doll could be easily evaded.
Sure.
Add on that sinking weakness, the gloom weakness, and blunt weakness, and Mariachi's skill 2 and 3 were actually very solid damage dealers, though his skill 2 still could never really
Alright,
clash.
that's good.
But if you're disappointed this was an easy fight, buckle up. Every other fight has at least one very frustrating aspect. This was a pretty nice warm-up fight, and I welcomed it every cycle due to it
Yeah, I don't
being
know how the
nearly
hell
as
you're gonna
problematic
clear, like,
as
Steam
any
Engine
of the
below,
rest.
like, 30 turns or something.
There has never, and will never be, another fight that makes me question my existence quite like Steam Transport Machine did.
Yeah. Whoa, 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 what the hell was that? Give me, like, frame by frame. Actually, you know what? We'll just, go
And
here.
will never be another fight that makes me question my existence quite like Steam Transport Machine.
Okay. We go very slowly. Sometimes I, wonder if the frame by frame even does anything, because nothing happens. Oh, fuck me. Please. There we go. The anger in my voice is a subtle reference to the fact that I now get angry at the mere mention of this boss being well designed or fun when it is so clearly just a way to push the hard meta IDs that make those without IDs simply suffer. I know no one else will have as bad of a team as I have, but regardless, it's probably one of the worst designed fights in the terms of player experience. I wholeheartedly agree. This shit is, like, awful. If you're reading this, go on, do the fight without your charge IDs and tell me that it's fun. Railway is about going fast, but this fight managed to make the concept just a horrible drawback to those just trying to play the game. I never want to see this fight ever again. Truly, the moment Walter became Heisenberg. No, I agree, bro. I don't know why they decided that the envy, like the sin resistances and the physical resistances, all become ineffective as soon as you try to play. It's so
I frankly
stupid.
don't even know where to begin. Cycle 0, I suppose. Running into this boss for the first time, I knew what I was getting myself into. I had no boosts, so I was doing normal damage, and Zwyrodian was practically worthless. However, it was when I broke the body and saw that it had 800 health left to go through that I truly felt my heart sink.
That's fucked.
Unlike many of you watching who have done Railway, I did not have the luxury of having a nuke turn for Steam Machine. I was lucky to line up a Merceau skill 3 to deal just decent damage. Oh, by the way, I should mention, Steam Machine is ineffective against Gloom attacks. We'll be coming back to that, don't worry.
Oh, awesome.
This fight
I actually forgot.
Any serious issues on Cycle 0.
Amazing.
Not rolling too high at the start, and especially not having healing. It was mostly a fight for me to gain ego resources on and fill up my sanity to full. Though don't get this twisted. I had to use ego on this fight still. Steam Machine has an attack that rolls a 20, and he uses it every few turns. This meant that, while I was gaining resources, I could never truly
Actually, hold
stop.
on. I just realized. I think I forgot to like that other video of the tier list that I
Is
just
Jake,
like
then
freeloaded
Bola Sinclair
content
is the
off of.
cooler Jake.
Yeah, just make sure. I'll give him a sub too.
Pile them. And sanity on IDs like Merceau could end up getting really low really quickly. Where the real pain of this fight reared its head was on cycles 3 and 4. At the beginning of cycle 3, my turn count was already in the mid-200s, meaning Steam Machine had plenty of accumulated pass stored up, meaning attack power up at the start of the fight, and healing. This meant that when I broke the body on cycle 4, you can see I had to go through 12.
Oh my god, bro! 1300 HP. Effective. I mean, he takes 1/4 damage or something. I mean, okay, damage multiplier stack additively, I think. So he takes 1/4 and then another. Oh my god, what the fuck is it? Dude. There is no way, bro. This is like this is thousands of HP this guy had to go through. That's so fucked.
My damage being quartered.
That's so fucked, bro.
But that's not quite accurate, is it? Because it's quartered, I had to deal 5,000
Yeah. This guy is dealing 5,000
damage,
effective health.
essentially, which is just insane.
Oh my god.
Now, I didn't play this fight very well,
I
and
would
my
never.
calculations were
I
pretty
actually
bad,
would
but
never.
I will excuse that by saying I was sick at the time, and also sick and tired of fighting Steam Machine. Again, the damage problem was only made worse by Steam Machine being ineffective against Gloom, meaning that precious turn where I was dealing fatal damage with my strongest nuke
Precious
attacks,
turn.
they were actually only dealing
Neutral.
normal
Yeah, that's neutral damage.
since the Gloom ineffectiveness canceled out the 2 times damage bonus from Steam Machine
Awesome.
being staggered. This fight was depressing. I'm sure it's running in the background right now. You can see just how long this took.
Turn 16.
exactly?
We're halfway there.
No, really. How many turns do you think Cycle 4
It's probably 30. That's what I was saying, bro. There's no way you did this in like under 30. It has to be high 20 to 30.
Transport Machine took me? 22 turns.
What the fuck? 22? Wow, that was so much faster than I thought, actually. What the fuck? 22? That's actually impressive.
40 full minutes for one fight. I also had to reset 2 times, but both of those were early on to the fight, so it didn't lose that much time. Now is a good time to say this. You are only seeing the successful fights for the most part. Very few of these fights were first try victories, and resets could sometimes cost me tens of minutes. Steam Machine was not really one of these fights, luckily, since if I did have to reset that many times to get a successful battle, this might have taken significantly longer. But generally, by the time I got about 10-ish turns into the fight, I was committed. Even if I took some extra damage that I didn't need to, it was not worth resetting. I was relatively lucky, and I played well enough to be able to get by. There was no particular standout ID on this fight, though if I had to choose, I would say Chef Gregor. This will become a common trend, but Paralyze is especially strong in this Railway for me, allowing my terrible...
Bro, doesn't he inflict like 1 Paralyze? That's so sad. Paralyze is the MVP. Bro, this ID inflicts like 1 Paralyze, doesn't it? That's so fucking sad, bro. That's so bad. He has 2. Oh, and he gives you 1 and 1. Awesome. Oh my god, bro. This ID is goated or something.
Guaranteed. And Ledger Main Paralyze got massive mileage when used against enemies with mostly single coin skills, like Steam Machine.
I mean, Legger to me,
I
that makes sense.
cannot
but...
describe the pain of
Oh my
fighting Steam
God.
Machine with this team in words. It was an awful, soul-crushing experience, while also not providing any amount of actual challenge, since the main scary thing about Steam Machine's attacks is the paralyzed next turn, which only accomplished one thing: making the fight longer.
Yeah.
Anytime I
alright.
cannot redirect clashes enough, my
That's just
Spyronian
awesome.
or Sloshmill or whoever else may have to take an unopposed attack would, one, really hurt on higher cycles, and two, make me unable to deal any significant amount of damage the turn after. Not like my damage was very significant anyways, considering my damage was already being cut down to a fourth of the usual.
1/8.
Steam
Oh my.
Machine truly does embody the Sisyphean nature of this challenge. Rolling the boulder to the top of the hill seems very possible, or in this case,
Hades
rolling Steam
mentioned. Oh
Machine
my god. Hades Boldy mentioned.
seems very possible.
Hella based.
At the beginning of the fight, damage comes in very nicely, and the boulder is pushed up the hill at a good pace. Until it starts healing, and the metaphorical boulder falls down a little bit. Repeat that process until the body's broken, and now
This
whenever
is
you push the
fucked up,
boulder,
bro.
it moves up at a snail's pace, leading to me making mistakes in my clashes and losing out on damage due to the sheer fatigue of playing this fight. Now, would you believe me if I said this fight was not the worst? This was a 9.5 on the pain meter.
How is this fight not the worst? What even would be the worst fight? I don't think it's... I think your instinct might be Centipede, because Centipede takes a while to die. But Centipede only takes a while to die if you're using charge IDs, because he steals your charge. So, if you're not using charge, then I don't think it's that bad. It's probably just Fey Lantern, because you can't kill the damn fairy. I guess. It's either Fey Lantern, because you can't deal any damage to it, or, what's it called? The, Sign of Roses, maybe? Because if you don't kill the roses, all your guys just die. It could be
Worse to
that.
come. Somehow.
If he can't deal damage to the
Okay,
roses,
so
maybe you
before
just
I talk
lose.
in earnest about Drifting Fox, and there is lots to say, I want to talk about enemy debuffs, because they are extremely relevant to this fight in particular. I followed a pretty standard order of picking my debuffs: opportunistic, accelerating, thirsting, inhaling, and hardening. I'll come back to inhaling and thirsting later to a lesser degree, but those first two. Wow. Part of what I loved about this challenge was it provided difficulty in ways I never could have expected. This was one such example. Opportunistic's extra 3 offense level is less drastic in runs where you have better IDs, and therefore better offense level, obviously, so I knew it would be a little bit more of a problem here. Accelerating is also a more obvious problem. As I hammered home in the first part of this video, my team is slow. So +1 to max speed is immensely problematic, even if I did not quite realize it in the moment. So why am I talking about it here in particular? Well, Drifting Fox is the perfect storm of these two debuffs coming together to create something truly, truly awful. Before that, though, there was some of the earlier cycle Foxes, 0, 1, and 2. These fights were relatively easy. Despite having a pretty bad matchup damage type-wise, both in dealing and receiving damage, the fight went by quickly enough due to Drifting Fox not having very much protection on him and not summoning many umbrellas. But Cycle 3 Fox was a monster. An unbelievable beast of a fight.
You can ego
that
spam for Sign of
absolutely caught me
Roses.
off guard
You're probably
just how
right,
tricky
because
the
it's the
fight
end of the run. You don't have to save resources. You're probably right, actually. I don't think it
with
would be
just
that.
the previous cycle, he was easy enough. This fight took so long, and I knew it would be so relevant that I recorded it. And the fight you're seeing now is one of my Cycle 3 Fox attempts. So what's the big deal? What made this fight so bad?
Probably getting your sanity ripped away from you.
Let's talk umbrellas. These are usually joke enemies. Literally free sanity, and they usually die to 2 skill 1s or 1 skill 2 from your average competent ID.
Sure.
The problem is my distinct lack of competent IDs. It's kind of the whole point of the run. Every umbrella was a genuine struggle to kill. Since the Fox lowers your sanity by 20 the turn he summons the umbrellas, it was likely I was dropping coins, and AoE Ego was a less desirable option than you might think, since AoE meant hitting the Fox, which meant more damage on me, and
Alright.
would mean I was going even lower on sanity.
That's pretty
so
fucked
I
up.
wouldn't even get refilled sometimes.
I don't
I
think
did use one Ego in particular to my
it can't be
advantage,
that
and that was Impending
bad,
Day.
though. There's no way it's
benefits were
that
twofold,
bad.
allowing me to potentially kill an umbrella with Impending Day for a fluid sack level of healing.
That's true. And then you also get to farm resources. And Mariachi Sinclair actually has good Sin resources on his skills. So you can farm. Like, that's what I said a while ago when we watched part 1 or whatever. Like, that's probably the only thing that's keeping him from running out of a lot of resources, including Envy specifically. He said he had, like, 1 Envy generation in the entire team or some shit. Like, I don't know. But Impending Day is what we do in the meta team to farm Gloom, and I'm assuming it's similar here to farm Envy for him on the Umbrellas, because it's
Or
pretty free.
I could set up the passive earlier in the fight, or Corrode, I guess, but overclocking was super not worth it for the sanity cost alone. But I could try and kill Umbrellas with Mirachi skill 2 for more Envy.
Yeah, see? There you go.
Passive. I did not end up using these strategies too much, or maybe as much as I would like,
Oh, never
since
mind.
Mirachi Sinclair's sanity is more important to maintain, so his evade was still reliable. Since, what was the point in gaining a team heal or resources if I did not end up finishing the run? I did gain 10 envy resources and 1 full team heal from this, and 10 envy resources was genuinely really good, and made me feel much better about my supply. However, it's not like the Umbrellas were what killed me. Most times I would
Where
heal
did you
about-
farm Sins in Railway 2? I mean, when every fight is like 2 or 3 turns maximum, there's not really a place to farm. Like, there's really not really a way to farm.
2 to 3 Umbrellas out of the 5.
You just use Impending Day on Drifting Fox. You basically turn like 3 Wrath and 2 Lust into 5 Gloom. That's basically it.
Umbrellas he summons, then the next turn he would use an AoE attack. Cries seeking something, which would gain +3 offense level from opportunistic since I did not damage him the turn prior. This attack is an incredibly strong Bloom Pierce skill.
Damn,
and it's
I'm
very
early
powerful.
today. What's up? The stream will be ending in like 5 minutes. I'm watching till the end of
Every
this
umbrella
fight,
is
and then
enough.
I'm
If that's a
gone.
problem, just kill those
Unfortunately,
umbrellas first thing the next turn, right? This would generally be okay. I
I
swear,
have bad
I must have been
news.
cursed at some point by an evil anti-luck entity because I would constantly hit tails at 45 SP. I remember 2 specific times where I had a clash lined up and I was at 40 or 45 SP and I would just miss heads. And this happens a lot in the Fox
Classic.
fight, even later on. You'll see.
That's a hella
Really
high
not recording my
resolution
whole
Tails
experience
coin,
now,
by the way.
That would have been so much footage to comb through, so the best you have is my word. I got smart to this possibility and eventually started using Paralyze when possible, but this was only the beginning. The bad luck I got here was pretty abnormal, but in retrospect, this was not even the biggest problem this fight had. There were 2 way bigger issues. This is where I want to talk about Rupture. This was a little bit of a problem with Talisman Doll, but it is much more relevant here. On almost all of its attacks, Drifting Fox either inflicts Sinking or Rupture, with some count alongside it. Sinking presented its own problems, but Rupture was far more actively dangerous. Taking unopposed attacks the turns leading up to the
You
Umbrella
just got
Sinking
here
was
as well?
basically
Well, you have a
guaranteed,
VOD
since
to watch,
aggro
you're
and the
okay.
accelerating debuff made
Don't
for a
worry
nasty
about it.
combo of helplessness. You know those umbrellas I talked about? Kind of hard to kill unless you focus them down? So, another reason I did not want to focus them down was I wanted to clash with each of them for more sanity, and similarly, this attack's
Yo,
effect.
guys, what's...
Now, you can call me paranoid, but I genuinely could not
Okay.
afford to have Sinking or Rupture stack up on me.
I feel a little
That
bit
would mean
bad.
one bad turn, and Sloshmill explodes from the sheer amount of Rupture potency. True damage can be scary, and get really out
Yeah,
of control.
that's...
If Sloshmill was staggered, and the enemy decided to target her unfairly, she was dead. This happened
Yeah, I mean, your IDs aren't tanky
a
if
few
you
times.
if you're
Not
just
just
have a
with
million
Sloshmill,
rupture
but
on
having
you. I mean,
any
that's
one ID
fair.
staggered was
That's
pretty bad.
hella cringe,
However,
actually.
believe it or not, there is more. After the first Umbrella cycle is done, there is a check, where if you succeed, the Umbrellas spawn with less HP next
I actually didn't... I don't think I've ever seen this check in my life.
time. This is really
Ever.
nice to hit, and I missed it 2 times.
You missed it. I missed it 2 times.
Resulted in 2
Interesting.
dead runs. Not just because of the Umbrellas, but because you
That's
lose
fucked
30
up, bro.
SP for failing this check.
Oh, that's
I
so
only
fucked
had
up,
Sloshmill
actually.
or Mariachi to choose from for these checks, since they were the only IDs who could actually roll high enough to win checks. 30 SP lost on Mariachi quickly leads to not having a reliable evade, and therefore a pretty inevitable death, since regaining Mariachi sanity is nearly impossible in this fight outside of the skill 3 and killing Umbrellas. I alternated between who I chose, but I have a screenshot of Sloshmill failing a check that I titled Sloshmill Proof, which I think is very profound. And one
That is profound.
last thing. There is a phase where the Fox will summon Umbrellas and do his big attack on the same turn.
When the fuck does
This
that
turn
happen?
was genuinely devastating.
When does that
It
even
led to
happen?
3
He spawns and also does the AoE at the same time? What the fuck?
resets. Bearing in mind,
What turn
this
is
attack
that?
pattern happens when the Fox is below 15% HP. Most of you out there maybe saw this once or twice at the most, but it was
Federal, you probably nuked him from 20 HP down to nothing. If at 15%, you gain semi-1.
every Fox fight.
Yeah,
for
I don't
me.
think I've ever seen that
It
in my
happened
life.
about 12 to 14 turns in. This meant
12 to
resets would be
14
20-minute
turns.
long attempts if they would end up dying to this phase.
Huh.
But after about 3 hours, eventually I did get past Cycle 3 Fox. And it was a
3
turning point for my
hours.
mentality and for the run as a whole.
Jesus
I
Christ.
realized I needed to play smarter with my resources. I had built up quite a lot of them, so it was time to stop being scared of running out.
Yeah,
Going forward,
alright.
not using Ego was more of a way to preserve SP than Ego resources. Except, of course, Envy. Now, Cycle 4 Fox. Even though I played this fight much better than my Cycle 3 run-through, it was still a little messy. The main thing that led to my success was barely skipping that nasty below 15% attack pattern by doing enough damage. This was helped by focusing the head down early to allow me to deal fatal damage for more of the fight.
Damn, wait, they're
since the
kind
head
of
was
actually
far less
dealing a
HP
little
than
bit
the
of
body.
damage.
Regardless,
I mean,
the average fight took about 15
most of it's probably
turns
rough,
to
sure.
complete, which is just horrible. The main problems were the same I was presented with in Cycle 3, but one extra umbrella and one more protection really did make some of these turns tricky to navigate. MVP for this fight has to be Sloshmo. This is where I really started
4
using
damage
Snap
crit.
Passive to drag some good flashing numbers
I
up,
mean,
and was
sometimes
starting
we
to
gotta
fight
make
apart
do
in
with what we
flashing
have,
with the prize
okay?
being something skill, even if Ego would have done the same job. Again, sanity. Sorry to peek early, but this fight really and truly was the most painful. Simply because I got punished in so many ways. Both for things that were my fault, and also completely RNG. Cycle 3 Fox was the peak of my railway suffering. A fight worthy of a 10 out of 10 on the pain.
That's a 10?
This was the fight that made me
that's
need to
fucked.
change my entire approach to this run. So I need to give it the rating it deserves. 3 full hours of fighting Drifting Fox just to try and win on Cycle 3 is awful. Now,
Yeah,
it may seem like
alright,
Steam
I mean,
Machine
that's
is still
valid.
the obvious choice for most painful, but remember, with Steam Machine, while the fight was unbearably long, there was always an end in sight. This fight, every attempt was
Nah,
likely to die
okay,
in
that's
20 minutes.
hella valid, bro. If he's using mass attack every single turn,
Whereas Steam Machine was one fight that was double the length.
Yeah,
and I could
okay.
mostly just zone out. Now that I know my strategy better for Fox, he would not be nearly as tricky now. But the painometer accounts for human error, so Drifting Fox absolutely was the
That's
worst fight
fair.
in Railway for me.
because of what's it called? Because the thing about Steam, the thing about Steam Engine is that even though he takes a quarter damage, like at least you're gonna win. Drifting Fox, you spend like 30 minutes plus on an attempt, and then you get to the phase where he does a mass attack every single turn, and you just lose. Like you just lose after all of that anyway. Like that's so fucked up, bro. There's no way. But yeah, I gotta hop off for now. I'll stream sometime in the near future. Clueless. Every single time I say that, and then I don't. But like, you know, maybe sometime over the weekend if I find some time, which I probably will. So we can finish this video sometime soon. Unironically, this time for real. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. I gotta go. I'm sure you guys have better things to be doing anyway. But that's gonna be it from me. I'll see you when I see you. But yeah, until next time, peace out. I'll see you see you next time, month. Okay. All right, peace.